Beat the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station. That's right, week one of the NFL season officially kicks off tonight. Of course, you have the Houston Texans, led behind Deshaun Watson, former Clemson quarterback, going up against Patrick Mahomes, who's had a little success in the league so far to start his NFL career, an MVP, a Super Bowl championship. Of course, in the Super Bowl MVP, I'd say, he's doing pretty good. Kev, the combined salaries between these two, the quarterback matchup tonight is
I just saw that.
More than $500 million, or almost $500 million, almost $500 million.
Money in the bank.
$660+ million combined.
Well deserved.
Good for them. So we'll see. We're going to, of course, go through each and every one of the week one NFL matchups, and we'll give our picks. If you want to make your picks, go to wingam.com and submit your picks using the ESPN Dayton Pro Football Challenge. Click on that. You'll see it right on the homepage. Get your picks submitted. We'll be announcing the prizes and everything here in the coming days, so make sure you are on top of that. Excited for today's show. We're going to catch up with Joe Paterno's son, Jay Paterno. Of course, Jay Paterno coached for over 17 seasons on Penn State's staff under his father, Joe Paterno. We're going to talk with him about everything that's going on in the Big Ten. An interesting conversation with him, Kev. He's a board member. He's a trustee. He's part of the trustee for Penn State. And it's going to be interesting to kind of hear the behind-the-scenes stuff that, is kind of going on. Basically, if on a scale of 1 to 10 after our conversation with him on the chances of college football, or at least of the chances of Big Ten kicking off on October 10th, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like -20.
Yeah.
It ain't happening.
A lot of enlightening information, something that he said that really caught my attention was, he says everybody has sources. There's 1,000,001 rumors, but there's only one truth. And that's just the fact of the matter. Everybody has sources. Everybody's got reporters everywhere telling them this, that, and the third. And we're all on social media, retweeting it, liking it on Facebook, sending it to everybody we know, about each and every rumor that we hear. But you know what? At the end of the day, there's only going to be the presidents making that decision. And from everything that we talked about with him and everything we've been talking about before we jumped on the show, it's not looking like it's going to happen.
Nope.
You can keep making up these rumors or having rallies all you want, but at the end of the day, the majority of the presidents of the Big Ten schools don't think it's safe to play football right now.
So, and keep in mind too, and again, we're gonna get into the conversation coming up with Jay Paterno again. He was a part of the coaching staff under Joe Paterno for 17 seasons. The son of Joe Paterno, Jay Paterno, he has a new book out. We'll preview that as well. Plus, kind of get his perspective. One thing I will say to close out this part about that conversation is, we talked about with all the parents, protesting outside the Big Ten headquarters. All the Buckeye fans that gathered outside the shoe. Again, I'm not saying that those protests don't matter, but they don't matter. It's falling on deaf ears because those minds are made up when it comes to certain issues right now as far as that's concerned. So we'll get to that conversation coming up here, top of the hour, 4:00, our conversation with Jay Paterno here on the corner. Again, I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Listen, stream, watch. You can listen at 1410 Wing AM weekdays from 3 to 6. You could stream us online at wingam.com. And of course, now you can watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash weekdays from 3 to 6. Head to Facebook. Everyone has a Facebook page. Search the Justin Kinner Show, like the page, follow along. Of course, for those of you who like to live on YouTube as well, subscribe and follow the ESPN Dayton YouTube channel, and you'll get notified every day at 3:00 whenever we hit the air. So I want to open up with this little college basketball talk because I think we're officially at the stage with college basketball where we were about 3 months ago with college football, where we weren't really sure what was going to go on, but we were kind of dumb and naive and just thought, everything will work out fine. It'll work out. There's no way that you can't have this. There's no way you can't have a football season. Well, the outcome was, yes, there's going to be football, but there's not going to be football. So the outcome ended up being totally drastically different than what we expected. The worst case scenario is no football for anybody, but the worst case scenario for Buckeye fans and Big Ten fans was, oh man, there is college football, just not for us.
Right.
That's the worst case scenario that a lot of fans are having a hard time wrapping their heads around. But here's what's going on with basketball right now. You and I discussed this yesterday. The ACC and the NCAA, the NCAA and Gavitt and the guys at the top are all kind of meeting right now. And there's a proposal by the ACC that was given to have an NCAA tournament that would feature everybody. Every NCAA Division I basketball program would qualify for the NCAA tournament. Now, selfishly for me, I'm like, well, that's great for a team that I love in Wright State too. Of course, the only way they ever get into the NCAA tournament is by winning their conference tournament. Mm-hmm. So, and you know, that's not an easy thing to do when everything comes down to a 3 or 4 day stretch. It doesn't matter. You could be dominant for 3 months. I mean, look, Wright State's a prime example of that this past season. They were in first place. I mean, they won a ton of games. They were dominant. They were on ESPN, more than any other Horizon League team, and they get ousted in their very first game. And they didn't even look anything close to what they did all season long. Right. They get bumped. They get upset in that. And again, that's the nature of those mid-major programs. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you play for 3 months. It all comes down to 3 days come conference tournament time. So again, selfishly, I'm like, oh, that's great for them. But even with that being said, I didn't like the idea. I was against the idea completely. I think that I don't understand what that's achieving. What are you achieving? Okay. Because that's the thing, the reason for everything. You can throw out any proposal you want, but what's the purpose of it? What are you trying to accomplish? Like, for instance, when we're hearing the Big Ten potentially proposing to kick off in November. Well, that's all fine and dandy. And at first fans were like, okay, good. And then they thought about it. It's like, wait a minute, that's a horrible idea because we'll be starting the season 2 weeks before the final college football playoff poll comes out. What are you even playing for? This is stupid. So you can have proposals, you can have ideas all you want. But again, the reasoning is always going to be what is key here. And you talked about it yesterday that some of it could be the fact that, okay, last year it was such an abrupt ending to the season. You had, of course, the 60-plus teams that didn't even get to compete in the NCAA tournament, including, here locally, the Dayton Flyers, who that was the most devastating thing right there because it's not just that they had a good season. They had an outer-body experience for an A-10 program right now. It's not completely foreign to the Dayton Flyers basketball program. It's, they've played in the national championship game before. It's not completely foreign to them. But as far as it's obviously not easy to do. How many decades did we go before they even got back to that level of a national scale? So it's very difficult to do. They didn't get to reap the rewards of the regular season at the end because the NCAA tournament was pulled out from underneath them. And again, we're not going to sit here and talk about how sad that is. We all know how sad that is. It was unfortunate, but the Flyers were not the only program that was impacted negatively by that. There were a lot of teams who were having really, really good years. I mean, Rutgers basketball. Rutgers was having one of their best seasons ever. They were excited to get into the NCAA tournament. There was a lot of programs out there from high major to mid major to low major who were all ready to go and participate in the postseason coming up. It got taken from them. And that's unfortunate. But the thing about COVID that I'm learning is it's very difficult to do the woe is me thing in during COVID because yes, some are impacted more than others, but everyone's impacted to a certain degree. Yeah. Whether it's financially, whether it's competitively, whether it's, at work, whether it's, at school, whatever it is, socially, everyone has been impacted by this one way or another. So when, Kev, no offense, but when you said, well, it's what's fair, there's nothing fair about COVID. You can't really make it fair to anybody right now. I mean, you have a situation where the NBA, like the Lakers and some of these other higher seeds, they should be having home court advantage. What's the benefit of being a one seed right now? Nothing, not a thing, other than maybe you play the weaker of the teams first, but that still closes the gap. There's no home court advantage. There's nothing fair about anything that's going on in pro sports right now. Baseball, oh, look at the Cardinals. They missed 15 of their first 20 games, and they get rewarded by making up those games all in 7-inning games. They have to play 2 less innings a game than everybody else. There's nothing fair about anything. So I'm not a big fan of the idea of saying, hey, you guys, everyone gets in. Everyone's invited. The cool kids, the losers, the jocks, the nerds, the goths, everybody. I mean, everyone is invited to the party. Everyone gets to be cool for a night. I'm not okay with everyone being cool for a night. Like, I think it takes away the competitive, importance of what the NCAA tournament is. To me, I wouldn't even tune in until you got to the final 60-plus, 40-plus teams to begin with, if that's the case. But we're talking about 300 teams, Kevin.
Yeah, I read the whole article about what the ACC was trying to push towards the NCAA. And I still like it for the simple fact that, it kind of makes up for last year, or you're trying to make up for last year. You're giving all the other conferences that didn't get a chance to finish their tournament, you're giving them a chance because they didn't get that chance before. I know, like the the Horizon League finished their tournament. But, the ACC had just got underway. And, me being a Syracuse basketball fan, to see Syracuse on the bubble yet again, to see them with a 30-point win over North Carolina, with them to have a matchup versus Virginia the next day when, your team is, getting hot. So you always want that hot run going into the tournament to see if you can keep it going to get into the tournament and everything like that. And there were so many other conferences that didn't get a chance to even finish. So that's what their point is. Like, they didn't even get a chance. Like, you never know. Like, we've seen it happen in the MEAC a couple times where a team that basically was a bottom seller the entire year, they got hot, they won their conference tournament, they got a chance to go get their teeth kicked in by Kansas or something like that. We've seen that happen before. So I think that's what the ACC coaches were trying to put across, like, just make it fair for everybody, to give them a chance to make up for last year. And I get what you're saying. Like, this whole thing isn't fair. Like, everything that's happening isn't fair. But the crux of it is the NCAA said they have no plans to expand the field anyway. So it's like that report just came out, I want to say like around 2:00.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Had no plan. They have no plans to expand it, but they are talking about potentially doing that bubble thing that we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
But real quick, I mean, and again, I get what you're saying. You talked about all the great, look, I know all the Cinderella stories that could possibly happen, and I don't care. I don't care. Like, I get it.
And you know what? Most people don't care about the Cinderella outside of the opening week. Because
it's fun like the first weekend, but I get beat up for this all the time. I hated Loyola in the Final Four. That was, I mean, when the biggest storyline was Sister Jean. What was her name?
I think it was Sister Jean.
And by the way, no problem with that. But like, that was the biggest storyline of Loyola making it to the Final Four. Now, some people have a soft spot for by the way, if it's Wright State going, you bet your ass and jumping up and down, doing cartwheels and everything like that. But like, to me, I want to see the Kentucky versus Duke, in the Final Four. I want to, but again, it doesn't happen often. That's why a lot of times those Cinderellas, they end right about the, Sweet 16, the Elite Eight. I mean, that's where the Flyers Cinderella run ended years and years ago. So, I mean, you don't see it too often.
Hey, man, UD wasn't a Cinderella, man.
They were that year. This year they were at the adult table. This year they were not sitting at the adult table in whatever year that was a few years ago. So no. Anyways, don't set me up like that. You made it too easy. But here's the deal. I think that the ACC is playing everybody. I think it's all, look, we care about it. They don't care about everyone, because I'm glad you brought up the fact that the NCAA turned it down. They knew the NCAA was going to turn it down, but they also knew that the ACC was going to get the majority of the credit for being the ones that stepped up to the plate to say, I think everyone, universal health care for everyone, everyone, everyone's included, everyone's invited. It's just rainbows, butterflies, and cute kittens and puppies and everyone's happy. The ACC knew damn well that the NCAA was not going to approve that, and here's why. You're talking about a situation where everyone is just trying to squeeze dollars together as much as they can. Why would the NCAA agree to paying for 360 teams to participate in the NCAA tournament? Now you have to have hotels for 300 teams. You have to pay for travel for 300 teams, 300 times, 10 to 12 to 15 personnel. That was never going to happen. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, there's no way that was going to happen. It never made any sense. Here's the second thing. Jeff Borzello with ESPN, who I just spoke to earlier today, and he's going to be calling into the show tomorrow. We're going to be talking about all of this. He put out an article a little bit ago that sources are telling him that behind closed doors, the ACC in those same meetings, they are leaking to the media how, hey, we think everyone should make the tournament. But what's actually going on behind closed doors is the ACC is really pushing hard to eliminate the non-conference. The ACC is doing everything in their power to make sure that they only have to play their conference, the ACC opponents. And you know what? I don't blame them, because that's the thing. In the ACC, you don't need to play anybody else. The non-conference is pointless. When you're Duke and everyone else, you're going to build your resume within your conference because you're playing a top 25 team 2 to 3 times a week anyway.
Same thing goes for the Big Ten.
And that's the thing. So right now is this situation. This is why I don't trust the ACC. They knew that the NCAA was never going to approve this, so they proposed it anyways. They leaked it to the media anyways. But then Jeff Borzello, I talked with him earlier today, and he said, oh, no, behind closed doors, the ACC is pushing really, really hard to eliminate the games with any of, the non-conference, the weaker links, the non-power fives. And that's what's going on. That's why I don't give the ACC credit. They're not trying to do what's right and what's fair for everybody. They're doing what's right and fair for them. So they covered their ass from a PR perspective, saying, "Hey, let's invite everyone. Everyone, cool kids, nerds, everybody. Everyone's getting invited to the party." That was never going to be the case. Here's why this is a problem. Duke doesn't need to play in November or December to create their tournament resume. Really, all the top teams in the ACC, that's the case. Mm-hmm. You will have, if you started in January and only played 2 months of conference basketball, that's all you need. You don't need the non-conference to build it. But if you are the A10 conference and you are the Dayton Flyers and you are trying to, pick up the pieces from the devastating end to last season, and you're trying to get back to the NCAA tournament, I don't care if you go undefeated in A10 play. Well, actually, that would probably be okay. You might be okay then. You would have to go undefeated in A10 play, maybe only stub your toe once or twice along the way. I don't think UD is good enough to go undefeated in that conference. The point is UD is not going to be able to build a tournament resume in 2 months playing only in the A10. It doesn't. I mean, UD is impacted by this more so than Wright State because it doesn't matter. You have non-conference or not. Wright State's not getting in, non-conference or not, unless they win the conference tournament later on in March or early March, late February, whatever it is, Kev. So that's why I'm like, this is a big deal if you are a Dayton Flyers fan because pay attention to what the ACC is proposing. We spoke with Jay Paterno earlier. I asked him the question about, would the Big Ten season be going on right now if you had heavier hitters in the coaches' room and the coaches' meetings? Would Kevin Warren be able to look, if Joe Paterno was still living and still the head coach at Penn, would Kevin Warren be able to look at a legend like Joe Paterno and Urban Meyer or Jim Tressel, and would he be able to look at those coaching legends within the conference and pull his weight around? No. It's a lot easier to do when you have Ryan Day, who's a first-year head coach. When a lot of it's youth around the Big Ten. There's really not a heavy hitter in the Big Ten, in my opinion. You could say Ryan Day, but stop. He's an infant. He's only 1 year into his coach's career. He doesn't hold weight at the table. The school does. That gives him that. And I think that's what's going on here. The ACC has so much influence. When you have Boeheim and when you have Coach Krzyzewski, I mean, you look at the talented coaches up and down the ACC. I think they're using their weight to try to position what's going to be best for them. And what's best for them is, hey, a conference only schedules come January. And then that NCAA tournament that we were pushing for everybody, we knew there was no chance of that, but at least we'd look like the protective big brother that's trying to take care of everybody when that was never really the case.
This is Duke's schedule from last year, their non-conference opponents. First game of the season, they played Kansas.
Yep.
They played Cal. They played Georgetown at Madison Square Garden. And I know they played a Big Ten team as well in the ACC Big Ten Showdown. Can't find exactly who they played, but
Ohio State,
Michigan
North Carolina
State, played
so
State.
Okay.
They played Michigan State. So think about those matchups you won't be getting in college basketball because, in all honesty, we don't watch Duke, Central Arkansas, Duke, Georgia State, Duke, Stephen F. Austin. We don't watch those games. We watch the Kansas game. We watch all their conference games because ACC is loaded. So, I mean, I get it, but I just don't get what they have to gain by doing that. I understand, like, okay, from a travel aspect, maybe you're trying to save money, but when you're inviting the smaller schools into your arena, you're not the ones doing the traveling. Maybe you're not splitting the gate with these smaller schools. You're not having to pay out. Maybe you're saving money that way. I just would like to know, like, what would they have to gain from that?
All right, we're going to open up the phone lines, 457-9464. We're live on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search and like and follow The Justin Kinner Show and interact with the show that way. Leave your comments and questions in the comments section as far as that is concerned. Keep in mind here, Kev, this is why this is such a big deal for a lot of teams, like for Wright States and the Horizon Leagues and the smaller schools. I found this interesting, kind of looking this up earlier today, that last year, the cancellation of the 2020 NCAA tournament, it cost the NCAA nearly $300 million. That $300 million, that cash is usually what goes back into those programs and schools.
Right.
That's what kind of closes the gap. I mean, we know where the money's being funneled to at the top,
right,
but they have to funnel just enough down to the bottom to be able to kind of keep everyone above water. Well, right now, there is nothing to be able to keep those smaller schools from drowning. That's the problem as far as that's concerned. But again, the NCAA was never going to pay for 300 plus teams for travel, hotel, everything that goes into even putting on an NCAA tournament. I mean, the only flip side to that we know how much money you make from TV deals and stuff for the NCAA tournament. I mean, do you double your money in the NCAA tournament for playing 2 to 3 more weeks of a tournament with everybody?
You're not, because nobody's going to be watching Wright State, Stephen F. Austin. They'll wait for the winner of that to play Duke to say, like, all right, who they going to play? But nobody on the masses is going to be watching Stephen F. Austin and Wright State play.
All right. And again, just keep that in mind. $300 million. That's
a lot of money, bro.
It's quite a chunk of change. Travco on Facebook. Let me make sure that people can actually read these. Okay. Travco says Michigan proved that Sister Jean didn't want none. Well played. Well played. Well played. Ron says, I saw an article that Penn State canceled all fall sports. Was it canceled or postponed?
Postponed.
It was postponed, Ron. But, Ron, we're going to get into that coming up here in a moment with Jay Paterno. Doug Morgan says, hell, even Kenner gets in to the NCAA. So there you go.
The late campus squad.
All right, lots more to still get into. We're going to give you our Week 1 NFL picks, which you can, of course, do by going to wingam.com. Submit your Week 1 NFL picks using the Pro Football Challenge, ESPN Dayton's Pro Football Challenge. Make sure you go and submit your picks now. Don't fall behind as far as that is concerned. But we're going to go matchup by matchup and give you our picks for that week. We'll also do tomorrow on the show, we'll do our 3-up, or our quick Justin Kinner, Kev Nash brings you 3 and out. 3 reasons why the Browns will win, 3 reasons why they'll lose, 3 reasons why the Bengals will win, and 3
interception
why the Bengals will lose. So there you go. I tell you what, 3 reasons why the Bengals won't win. It won't be because AJ Green plays all 4 quarters or at all. You set it up. You had to make fun of them. I'm a child. You started it. All right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon is going to be partly cloudy with a high near 82. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 62. And tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high near 81. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the summer clearance event at New Carlisle Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At New Carlisle, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com where you can complete all aspects of the vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
For summer DIY projects, you know the Home Depot's always in your corner. Now with our mobile app, it can also be in the palm of your hand. With digital tools like image search, snap a picture of something. It'll recognize it and serve up product suggestions in seconds. And our product locator will check availability and lead you right to it. The Home Depot mobile app. Download it today to get started. Only from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball, right? Making sure you have no holes in your defense. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. And you'll pay up to 50% less than big carriers and still use their same networks. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data and 2G. No contract, no mystery fees. Fully covering your bases for 50% less. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Bromley's for Men makes it easy to choose the right shaving routine. In fact, we've done the work for you. Our 7-blade razor with the no-slip get-a-grip handle gives you the smoothest shave possible. Bromley's practically puts your shaving routine on autopilot. Seriously, if we could physically shave your face for you, we would. Find the Bromley's Get-a-Grip razor in the men's grooming aisle at Kroger. Bromley's for Men. You do you, we'll do the rest.
Dutch Boy's new Platinum Plus paint with Stain Shield technology has the performance you expect from a luxury paint at a price you didn't. Platinum Plus is up to 50% more washable and stain resistant than a leading premium paint in satin sheen. Superiority ranges from 24 to 50% depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail-in rebate. See store for details.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Oh, hi. Okay, guess we should talk about something. Kind of tough to be put on the spot. Not sure what to say. But I know what I'm definitely not talking about. Drivers who switch to Progressive because they big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Redbox has new movies and huge blockbusters, including a totally excellent comedy. Stream the theatrical home release of Bill and Ted, Face the Music, starring Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. Our old friends Bill and Ted, who are now middle-aged dads, must time travel into the future using their trusted telephone booth, retrieve a song from their future selves, and save all of humanity. Easy, right? Get premium access and stream Bill and Ted, Face the Music on your smart TV or favorite device with the Redbox app today. Visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
I'm Scott. I'm a Park National Banker and I'm a community board member. At Park National Bank, we believe that we're more than our job titles, and you're more than an account number. Now, bringing our family of community banks together under a single brand name means you get those core values you've always counted on, and more service, more access, and more options. We're all together now at Park National Bank, where you mean more.
And now a game of commercial chicken brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could say big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Right now, you can soak in the savings at the Home Depot Days of Doing bath event with new low prices on the latest, greatest faucets. Vanities from as little as $159. Plus, get up to 40% off all online bath essentials, as well as free delivery for online vanities. So relax and restore your space with beautiful bath savings now at homedepot.com/bath. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Valid through September 27th, U.S. only.
Pro-grade brands, big savings, and all the right services to keep your business moving are just some of the reasons why Lowe's is the new home for pros.
The Reds are on the radio. Every hit, every strikeout, every home run.
It is gone into the second deck and left. A 2-run home run by Eugenio Suarez.
Cincinnati Reds baseball. Catch every game right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Back to the famous WING studios. Here's Justin Kinner and Kev Nash.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Coming up, top of the hour, 4 o'clock, we'll talk with Jay Paterno. Joe Paterno, son of Joe Paterno, legendary head coach for the Nittany Lions, of course. We'll chat with him about his new book and, of course, everything that's transpiring in the world of college football right now, most notably surrounding the Big Ten. How about Jadeveon Clowney signing with the Titans, Kev? Of course, there was the talk. We knew he picked the Titans, but then there was reports saying that there was nothing official yet. But then, of course, he talked about Mike Vrabel. Report came out today. Mike Vrabel's the reason that he, of course, jumped on board with the Titans, which is still crazy to me because not crazy. It doesn't surprise me that he joined them. That's a huge get. I'm sorry for them. But, the AFC standings, remember we talked about ESPN, basically kind of, running they basically did the entire season. They ran the entire season and then ended up coming up with the records for everybody. They have the Titans going 8-8 in the simulated season. They have the Titans missing the playoffs. That defense was one of the best defenses in football last season. And now all of a sudden you add in even more dominant pass rusher into the mix. Of course, can he stay healthy? That's crazy to me that they have the Titans out in that simulator. Again, it's a simulator. It means nothing. It's just like preseason polls. it gets you talking, but I am wondering what's there because the team's technically better than last year. It's another year of Derrick Henry, a full year for, their quarterback now who's going to have a full year of experience, more experience into that system. And what was already a good defense is an even better defense now as far as that's concerned.
I'm trying to look up and see who they play from the NFC, what division, because that may tell you something. Because if they play at the NFC South, then maybe that's where they're going to be seeing they get a couple losses from. Let me check it out.
Yeah, and again, we'll keep our eye on that. By the way, just a reminder, the Pro Football Challenge, the NFL Pick'em Challenge at wingam.com. We've already submitted our picks. We're going to be giving you our matchup-by-matchup breakdown coming up here in hour number 2. We'll have Jay Paterno at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock, and then we'll go through our picks for the week 1 of the NFL season. Kicks off tonight, of course, with the Texans, and of course, the Texans, and then, of course, the reigning Super Bowl champs and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Titans play the NFC North. That's who they play from the NFC.
By the way, Ron is getting his panties in a wad about his Buccaneers team. He says, don't count out Tom Brady week 1. They're 3.5-point underdogs, but they don't have any film. Beware of the unknown.
They got 20 years worth of film.
I think Tom Brady's played a game or two. But I think I know what Ron's saying. It's yes, Tom Brady very experienced, but again, you don't know what this offense is going to look like. We kind of have an idea of what we think it's going to look like, but until you actually see it, that is the one thing too. Although no preseason. It's not a heavy amount of snaps in preseason, but I mean, it's at least some film to kind of get an idea of what but again, everyone's not using their best stuff in preseason anyways for this particular reason right here. I don't think that's it. Look, let me ask you this. Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees, Michael Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the weapons for the Buccaneers. Who has the better skill guys?
Buccaneers.
Better quarterback.
Right
now, you think that from a skill perspective, Tom Brady is more skilled than Drew Brees?
Yes.
Okay.
Running back, Saints with Kamara. So you can say, well, it's Saints difficult. Also have Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Cooks and Michael Thomas versus Mike Evans and Godwin.
And Godwin was, I think, top 2 or 3 in total reception yards last year. Again, he was the primary target, obviously in that Buccaneers offense. I still think Tom Brady I think everyone's going to roll with Tom Brady over Drew Brees because of the comfort of all the Super Bowls that he has. But from skill-wise, I think Drew Brees throws a better ball. I think the offense, that offense is what it is because of Drew Brees. I don't think it would look, we saw last year when you took Drew Brees out of the equation, it didn't even look remotely close to being as explosive.
Still went undefeated.
That's cute and adorable, but I'm telling you right now, that's not going to get it done.
Still went undefeated without him.
Then why'd they go back to Drew Brees?
Because he's a starter.
Because he's a star.
He's starter. Starter.
You talk about Drew Brees like he's a bum.
He's not as good as he used to be. He's just not.
Top 3 in total yards every single season. He's unreal. That offense goes to see. It's taking fluke calls in the playoffs to knock him out every year.
The ball back, he threw an interception.
Okay, that's fine. Tom Brady threw an interception. His last throw ever as a New England Patriot was a quacker as well.
No, it wasn't a quacker. It was just a bad throw.
Oh, it was a pick 6. That's even worse.
Yeah, a quacker when nobody hit you.
What'd you call me? That's twice now. That's
a go.
But no. I think it's interesting. So I'm curious. And all right, so
we never agree.
No, and that's fine. But the thing is, whoever's right in this, I don't think it's right by much. Look, it's basically a pick 'em anyways. 3.5-point favorite. The Saints are coming up this weekend. That was a tough one. I was thinking about that earlier today. I'm like, I don't know, because the Chiefs are the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
No, to repeat the Super Bowl champions, no doubt about it. But the Buccaneers have more bets on them. More people have bet on the Buccaneers to win it, although the Chiefs are. But I'm looking at the Saints and I'm looking at that offense, and I'm like, holy smokes, man! Like I don't know how much better the Buccaneers are than the Saints, and I really can't. I can't argue that the Saints are definitely better than the Buccaneers. We don't know. Tom Brady. This is why this is so interesting with Tom Brady. because for so long the narrative has been, were they good because of Tom or were they good because of Belichick, which is stupid because I think they were good because everyone was great at what they did. I think that's really dumb to do that, but we, of course, have to put everything into a pie chart, and there's no such thing as 50-50. It has to be. Someone had to be more responsible for the success than the other. We're going to find out, and by the way, I broke down the numbers last week. Tom Brady didn't slow down last year. Mm-hmm. The numbers slowed down, but that's because he didn't have weapons around him consistently. But he threw, remember, I think last week we were talking about Tom Brady and the fact that, the offense won't even remotely look as explosive as what it did with Jameis Winston, because there's no way Tom Brady throws as much as Jameis Winston. Well, that's not true. Last year they threw, and again, I know I brought this up, but they threw the exact same amount of passes. They completed the same amount of passes, except Tom Brady didn't have that weapon down the field. He couldn't, throw over the top of the defense. That was the one thing too. That's where Jameis kind of had that going for him as far as that. But what Tom Brady had going for him is that he didn't throw 30 interceptions. Exactly. He only threw 8. So that'll always do it. I'm just curious how much more explosive the Buccaneers offense could be. Leonard Fournette's interesting. Before Leonard Fournette, I would have still gone with the Saints. Leonard Fournette's it's not Tom Brady that makes me hesitate to pick the Buccaneers, to pick the Saints over the Bucs. It's Leonard Fournette. I think he adds an extra dimension of dominance now that we weren't talking about before.
You said KC is favored to win the Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
So for them to go back-to-back, that last back-to-back champs were the Patriots in 2004 and 2005.
When they beat the Panthers with Jake Delhomme in the second one, and they beat
they beat the Panthers, and then they beat Philly.
So the Panthers was the first one. It wasn't the back end. Okay, yeah. And for a while, I was like, Patriots never repeated a chip. That's not true. They did. Obviously, I forgot about that one. I was thinking of the Spurs, as dominant as the Spurs, because the Spurs were kind of the Patriots of the NBA, where they never were dominant for 3, 4, 5 years at a time. But again, they never won back-to-back NBA championships. But the Spurs, of course, had quite a few rings by the time that trio's career all came to an end. Interesting, nonetheless. By the way, Doug Morgan says, "How many times do you think the Browns will go for 2? I'm guessing every time, as long as OBJ is on the field." Heyo. Will I go for 2 every time OBJ? Because it is his favorite. Good job. I mean, Doug just sits there and waits. I mean, he sends these in. I stole Doug's joke yesterday about OBJ being a great third down quarterback. Doug, I don't know if you knew that yesterday. I did steal your joke, and I made it as much as mine as possible as far as that's concerned. But I'm curious, 457-9464. We're going to step away for a few moments. I want to get some people on the line. They need to help settle this debate right now. Is the Bucs offense more explosive than the Saints? Which of those two teams? You look at Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and then, of course, you look at the trio. You look at the weapons and the explosiveness in the Bucs offense. Now you add Leonard Fournette into the mix, Tom Brady, of course. Who is, which of those two teams has the more impressive offense? We're going to get into that when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
In these times, it's important to look after yourself. At Kettering Health Network, we offer telehealth video visits so you can see Kettering Physician Network providers from the comfort of your home using your computer, tablet, or phone. With Kettering Telehealth, you can keep up with your wellness visits, see a specialist, and everything in between. Start by visiting ketteringhealth.org/telehealth. Kettering Health Network.
It's the summer clearance event at Key Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At Key, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks, and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com, where you can complete all the aspects of a vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations, serving the greater Dayton and Cincinnati area, is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the best value in bath and shower remodeling, and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that is safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase. Visit on Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com and upgrade today.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle. With options like Blind Spot Assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Mercedes-Benz vans start at just $33,790, now with 0% APR financing for up to 60 months.
MSRP in our 2019 Sprinter van excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep fee. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment is practice optional. APR valid on 2019 Sprinter vans, excluding cab chassis, only to qualified commercial customers exclusively through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services at participating dealers through September 30th, 2020.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what covering your bases is in baseball.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
Back to the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
He told you. The Kenner Bowl. Browns Cowboys, I tell you. All right, so we were talking, of course, about the Bucs offense and the Saints offense, and Bucs fan Ron, he came in swinging. He's all upset because we're disrespecting his Buccaneers, because the Buccaneers have exposed Ron for being a hypocrite. The Buccaneers have exposed Ron because Ron preached last year that until you see the team out on the field, you can't be excited about them. You're not allowed to show emotion. They haven't accomplished anything yet, and Ron has already anointed the Buccaneers as Super Bowl champions. So I laugh at that, Ron. But Ron says it's not about the offense. The Bucs D is the difference. Well, be that as it may, Ron, but I'm looking right now at last season, and the Buccaneers weren't even in the top 15 as far as top defenses are concerned. So, Ron, if you could clarify what exactly that is supposed to mean. I mean, because right now the Saints defense last year was ranked higher than the Buccaneers. So Again, I get it. You're passionate, and everyone thinks that their kid is. I mean, no one thinks their own kid's ugly. That's how people treat their teams, Kev. Has anyone ever looked at their kid and said, "Oh man, my kid's ugly"? I've seen people look at their ugly kid and try to convince people how cute the ugly kid is. That's what we do with our sports teams. And I probably, with being a Browns fan, I probably have like one of the ugliest kids of all time. But I think the kid's adorable. So that, like, trust me, I get it. People get so upset. Ron thinks that the Buccaneers, his baby, he thinks that baby is adorable, and it's not. It has a big nose. It's cross-eyed. It's Ron. I don't think your Buccaneers baby is not as cute as you think. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm all about the analogies.
I see.
Some get me in trouble. Others don't.
One today.
Well, you getting all your stats lined up?
I'm just trying to look at something a little bit deeper at it.
A deep dive.
So for the Bucs, you got obviously Tom Brady. You got Jones and Fournette in the backfield. You got Godwin, Evans, and Gronk. So for the Saints, you got Drew Brees, the Drew Brees man. In my humble opinion, the best quarterback ever to come out the Big Ten, but that's a topic for another day.
Justin Fields is the best quarterback to ever come out of the Big Ten, and he's not even out of the Big Ten.
Drew Brees. You got Kamara.
By the way, that's not saying much. It's not like the Big Ten to spit out. I mean, you think Drew Brees? I mean, Tom Brady and Drew Brees, which coincidentally,
best Big Ten quarterback of all time.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, shoot, Tom Brady.
Because Tom Brady beats him in that too, if we're talking about,
that is also
anyways,
true.
Okay.
So you got Latavius Murray and Kamara in the backfield for the Saints. Oh, that's right. Oh, no, it's not Cooks. They don't have Cooks.
I was gonna say Cooks went to
Cooks went to Houston.
Yeah, he was the Rams traded him. Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay.
Emmanuel Sanders with the Broncos last year. Actually, he was traded from the Broncos. Who did they trade him to? Where did Emmanuel Sanders end up?
49ers.
The Niners, that's right.
Yeah, so Emmanuel Sanders and Michael Thomas, once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye.
Unless you're Tate Martell. Real quick, Ron's upset. Now he's getting mad and taking personal shots at me, just like your golf game. Ron, I was bringing facts. You talked about the Buccaneers defense being the difference, but the Saints defense was ranked higher than the Buccaneers. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I just want some clarity. I sound like a Big Ten fan right now. Ron, you are acting like the Big Ten commissioner. You're not being clear at all in what you're trying to say. Just saying.
So from the top, you got the Bucs with Tom Brady, Jones and Fournette in the backfield, Godwin, Evans, and Gronk. Saints, Drew Brees, Kamara, Latavius Murray, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Thomas, and Jared Cook. I mean, like you said, we're splitting hairs here, because those are some weapons. So the question is, who has the best weapons?
Oh, who has the best weapons?
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I think that the Buccaneers are deeper with their weapons. Like Michael Thomas is the best receiver of that entire group, but the Buccaneers have more of a. But Emmanuel Sanders is a nice addition. However, it's still not enough. Like, I think the Buccaneers just have too much depth as far as that's concerned. As far as the total weapons that they have. Defense, I mean, I laugh when we talk all the time about the Saints defense, but the Saints, I mean, remind me of a Big 12 team when it does come to that. So I don't know. It is one of those situations where I think that's going to be the most interesting, like to me, outside of the AFC North, because we're going to be following that like crazy this year. Of course, you being a Steelers fan, and we're going to be watching the rivalry develop between the Browns and the Bengals now that they both presumably have their quarterback with the Bengals and Joe Burrow, and the Browns with Baker. Is it the? Oh no, we got Steve from Fairborn. Let's go to Steve. Steve in Fairborn, how are you, sir?
I'm good, gentlemen. As far as the Saints and the Buccaneers, I hear you guys mention Taysom Hill. I think he's the X factor of all of them. Because he's a big offensive piece. That the Saints utilize all the time, and I think he could make the difference in maybe that splitting hairs a little bit.
No, that's fair. I mean, they use him like a toy, like a cool toy. He plays on special teams. You got your backup quarterback out there taking snaps on the special teams, running routes and everything like that. He is definitely a surprise weapon for them. So that's fair.
I mean, the dude runs a 4.3, 4.40, and he's going to be a big piece for the Saints. But I got to go Saints over the Bucs.
Saints over the yeah. And when you talked about Steve, when you said splitting hairs, trust me, that's all this is. That's what makes this so interesting too. And you look at that division, and it gets real interesting. When we talked about how they were predicting that division to play out. I mean, that's a tough one too, because the Falcons are projected to go 9-7 and miss the playoffs, and they have quite the impressive trio as well with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and now, of course, adding their running back in Todd Gurley. So that division's really going to be super competitive. And then there's the Panthers.
Well, I don't have a horse in that race. I'm a Dolphin fan, been there for like forever. I don't see why New England Patriots are still getting more love than Buffalo. I don't think the Patriots are even going to make a playoff this year.
I'm with you. I don't get it. And I like Cam Newton, by the way. I think Cam Newton made a mistake going to the Patriots. I think Cam Newton went into that just being happy to get a job. But Cam Newton's going to get the blame for this. Cam Newton, if he struggles this year, it's not going to be because the Patriots decided to take every possible weapon away, trade away their first-round pick, and not make any new additions to the offense. They're just going to say, oh, well, the offense struggled because of who was at quarterback and Cam Newton. And I don't think that's completely fair. You're a Dolphins fan. I'm curious why if Tua Tagovailoa is completely healthy, every doctor has signed off on him, why in the hell is he not starting?
I'm confused about that too. I mean, his hip injury was pretty substantial, but he's supposedly 100%, looks good. I don't know why they're going with Fitzpatrick. I don't have any idea. I figured 2-3 games maybe, then just till he gets back in the flow because of the COVID stuff. That's the only thing I can think.
But Steve, you know what's interesting about and I agree with you. That's what's going to end up happening. I've already predicted by week 3 he will be the starter, but that's just stupid to me. So what did those 2 weeks do? Did the 2 weeks that you did not start Tua Tagovailoa, did that add years to the back end of his career? Because the mindset on this is just it's weird to me. It's weird.
Well, a lot of rookie guys come out, and the Dolphins' offensive line, I'd say, is not bad. I'd say mediocre to okay. But there's been a lot of rookie quarterbacks come out and get blasted at game. I remember when Carr first came out, they thought he was going to be, a really great quarterback. We had no offensive line. You remember the commercial he had when he held the ball by himself, and he was hiking the ball to himself?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's basically what it's going to be anyways. But my thing is did Tua actually get beat out? Because Kevin and I had this debate about this a while back. I guarantee that Tua would have been the starter in week 1 for the Dolphins, especially because he had been cleared months and months and months ago, which was totally, then there's no reason he should not be the starter. So did he get beat out? Did he legitimately get beat out? Because I don't believe he truly got beat out. I believe this is those things that the teams do for PR purposes where, we want to ease our rookie quarterback into this. No, you don't. That's dumb. No one does that. No one does it successfully anyways.
Well, I think because all the COVID stuff, it's a little bit different situation because he's got really, no live reps anywhere. You know what I mean? It's just in all practice stuff. And without the COVID, he would have had some preseason games and all that kind of stuff to get acclimated more. I fully believe by maybe even week 2, So
you think he's because of COVID? You think he's 2 weeks behind everything, and he needs 2 weeks to catch up?
Well, he's had no live reps or anything. I mean, it's one thing to be there and practice with all your guys and everything.
Well, then if that's the case, I don't think 2 weeks is enough for him to be the starter. Then.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, he'll be the guy. But I think the Dolphins are going to finish ahead of New England, actually. And the Patriots are going to be third in the division. Buffalo, Miami, England. That's what I think is going to happen this year.
Interesting. Hey, I don't think that's that hot of a take because I just don't see how people who are projecting the Patriots to win 9 to 10 games. I'm looking at that schedule like, where are those 9 to 10 wins coming from?
Who's he going to throw the ball to?
Exactly.
Amendola is older than me.
So, and they got, and yeah, it was a stretch last year when they were adding certain pieces down the stretch. Who was the former the Bengals wide receiver that they let go of? Sanu. Yeah. And they let go of him, not because he wasn't good enough to play. It's because they, he had $4 or $5 million that they would have owed him this year. So they moved on from him. So
I think the Belichick magic is done. And once he loses this year, he's going to retire, just like Tom Brady's going to retire at the end of this year, too. So we'll see. Anyway, gentlemen, have a good day and a great evening. And y'all take care.
You too, Steve. Great hearing from you. Good point. My point is, and by the way, I agree with Steve that there's a lot of factors as to why Tua Tagovailoa may not be the starter. I just don't believe that it's because Fitzpatrick is that they're convinced that Fitz is the guy, because he's the guy to do what? You're not projected to make the playoffs this year. You're supposed to be developing the guys to know what you have. You only have 16 games to figure out what you have with Tua. You're taking those away. And again, I'm coming at this from the perspective of, this is what every person who criticized the Browns with Baker Mayfield that year. They wasted time with Tyrod Taylor at the beginning of the year. Everyone knew that. When Hugh Jackson, everyone was coming out, Tyrod, he's going to be the guy for the year. We all knew that was crap. And it's the same thing going on with the Dolphins right here. So if it is because of COVID and no live snaps, then you may not see Tua at all as the starter this year, because I'm not convinced that 2 to 3 weeks from now that's how far behind he was. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Centerville with Chris. Chris, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
So I just wanted to put my take here on the Bucs and the Saints here. And
yep,
I think, first off, I think Tom Brady's the GOAT. I think that the roster's more talented, but I'm not sure I think Brady's got some left, but I don't think he has as much left as Drew Brees. And not only that team's been together, and I think chemistry goes a long way. The Bucs kind of remind me of the Browns last year, and I'm a Browns fan.
They're that good, huh?
Well, it's not good. You don't see big super teams winning in the NFL like that, like you would see in the NBA or something. You could look at the Chiefs, but it's really not a super team.
They were organic. They were organically built. That's what I liked about the Chiefs as far as that goes. And people are trying to catch up to the Chiefs. And you're right. Historically, the teams that always spend the most money, it always doesn't work out that way. The Rams tried it, and they failed. Remember, after that year, they went to the Super Bowl. They spent a ton of money in the offseason. They went out and got Patrick Ramsey and everybody, and they didn't even, it didn't help at all. So you're right. Those super teams, it works out less and less in the NFL than it does in other sports.
I think the Bucs are going to make the playoffs, but I don't see them going very far. But hey, that's my take. Thanks, guys.
Hey, anytime. I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks. Going to be interesting. I love the fact that you get to see Tom Brady, Drew Brees week 1.
Yeah,
you don't have to wait. I love that we get Browns Bengals week 2.
Well, I
hate that the Browns have the Ravens week 1.
For Steve, you got the Patriots week 1, Dolphins Patriots week 1. We gonna see. We're gonna learn today. Facts, because a lot of talking heads at ESPN believe Cam Newton can be the MVP of the league.
Really? No. There's you do that right as we're closing. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. By the way, yes, he's capable of it, but not in New England. Not with this roster. That's all. Not with this roster. Not with this roster. And anyone that tries to convince me that this roster is good is the same people that said how bad the roster was last year for Tom Brady. It's worse than what it was for Tom Brady with Cam Newton, and all of a sudden Cam Newton's winning. Damn it. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Did you take your meds today?
No, but I can't believe that came out of your mouth. You believe that.
I didn't say that.
I said the talking heads. You said the
talking heads at ESPN.
But the second that Kinner said, "Oh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard," then you turned your head like, "Is it though?" Because then you were trying to come up with reasons as to why.
I wasn't saying anything, man. I just let you go.
If I was a stand-up comedian and I was performing at the Funny Bone this weekend, the only thing I would do, I would go print out the roster for the Patriots. I would pin it up on the Dayton Funny Bone wall, and I'd walk off and just let people laugh for an hour. That's how bad that lineup is, or that order is. I'm just saying. That's a bad roster. And they screwed over Cam Newton, because when he fails, it's going to be his fault, and it's not his fault. It's a crap roster. And they just want Cam, or they want to see if Cam is even capable of playing enough, but they really want the guy from Clemson. My guy. Sunshine, whatever you want to call him. Or Justin Fields, whoever. What you think? He's coming back to Ohio State? Yes. Hour 1 is in the books. We got Milano's waiting on us. I'll be back in a moment. We're going to talk with Jay Paterno when we come back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Wrong. The truth is, your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. Drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that has experience working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness, return to sport, sports performance, strength and conditioning, speed and agility training, all at our state-of-the-art facility in Miamisburg. For more information on Orion Sports Medicine, visit orionsportsmedicine.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with home daily lanes. $2,000 sign-on bonus, great pay and benefits. Contact Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation. Driven to succeed.
DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, is kicking off the football season with a total of $3 million up for grabs for this Thursday's football contest. Download the DraftKings app now and use code CJR. For a limited time, new users can get a free shot at the $1 million top prize and $3 million in total prizes with your first deposit. That's code CJR. Only at DraftKings. Make it rain. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Redbox has new movies and huge blockbusters, including a totally excellent comedy. Stream the theatrical home release of Bill and Ted, Face the Music, starring Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. Our old friends Bill and Ted, who are now middle-aged dads, must time travel into the future using their trusted telephone booth, retrieve a song from their future selves, and save all of humanity. Easy, right? Get premium access and stream Bill and Ted, Face the Music on your smart TV or favorite device with the Redbox app today. Visit redbox.com for all the ways to watch.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Staples helps your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices. From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and sanitizer. Save big at Staples.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzzed driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short.
in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on a Thursday. Yes, it's already a Thursday, and it's week 1 of the NFL season. It kicks off tonight. Of course, you have the Kansas City Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions, welcoming in the Houston Texans. Of course, these two teams made a lot of noise this offseason. Of course, historically, the two highest paid quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League going head-to-head. You combine both their contracts, and you're going to see two quarterbacks go head-to-head tonight. That when you combine their contracts, it equates to more than $660 million. That's quite the dinero right there as far as that's concerned. We're going to get into our conversation with Jay Paterno, the son of legendary former head coach of Penn State, Joe Paterno, coming up here in just a moment. We'll preview his new book that is out, as well as talk about the happenings in college football at the moment, especially surrounding the future of the Big Ten kicking off this fall. Let's go to the Ron. The Ron is on hold. Ron, what's up?
Hey, Justin, how you doing today, buddy?
Oh, man, look at the energy in his voice. You hear that, Kev? You hear that? Justin, like it's almost as if the season's here. Hey, by the way, the best team in the National Football League is playing tonight.
Well, it'll be on the other side. So, anyway, I was going to say, I called not to dog your team, which I will later, but like your team and my team kind of got the same situation. Brady's learning a new offense, and they're going to change it around, for him. So you got Stefanski's offense with, your Hayfield, and but nobody's got any tape, no preseason games, nobody's seen nothing. So the first week will be, kind of intriguing. That's my point.
What do you think is? I get what you're saying, but at the same time, how mysterious is Tom Brady that they just don't know what they're getting into? I think the Saints are familiar with Tom Brady. I don't think it's a situation where they just have never heard of this guy and that there's no film that exists out there. When you bring up that film talk, Ron, and you talk about rookies, that's one thing. Like when you try to cancel out Baker's success his rookie year and said because there was no film, there really was no film on a rookie. But there's almost 20 years now worth of film on Tom Brady. So I know what you're saying, but I don't think the gap is going to be that big between the two just because of that.
Well, I think it'll be a real close game.
I think you're making excuses, Ron. That's what it sounds like. I see what. Oh, you're smart, Ron. You're very smart. I know what you're doing. You called in to do this today because I know what you're going to do next week when you're going to say, "Man, I told you there just there wasn't enough film. They weren't. I think that's what it's going to come down to."
Okay. Well, I hope next week when I call it'll be like I told you. So, but. Now you want to dog me? Let's dog Hayfield. Hey,
get him, Ron.
Let's go. Let's put the over/under on the vote right now on your little thing. 4 games over/under on the bench.
Wow. Oh, that's under. And by the way, if it's over, it's because of injury. It's not because of what you're about to allude to. Because I know where you're going with this.
Well,
if Case Keenum plays this year, it's not because Baker's getting benched for Case Keenum. It's because Baker gets hurt, which, by the way, Baker's one of the most durable quarterbacks in the National Football League 2 years into his career. He doesn't miss games because of injury. Now he's going to get hurt in the opening drive and miss the season because I said that. And then the Browns storyline will be that Case Keenum leads into the playoffs, and then they have a decision to make the next year. That sounds fun.
Well, I hate to tell you, but I picked Ravens to beat your team opening day. So
I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised, Ron. You brought that to the table like it was breaking news, man. No, in all seriousness, by the way, I have no clue who to pick between the Saints and the Buccaneers coming up this weekend. I'm torn on that. We're going to be doing our picks coming up here in about 20 minutes. So I haven't made up my mind who's going to win that yet. I'll make up my mind in 20 minutes.
I've still got a little time on my hands. I've been watching tape all day, and even the analysts are saying, really, you don't know how this offense might have changed. The Saints might be just, not expecting some weird stuff, But
I get it.
anyway, you kind of got it when I posted it, but now you're trying to fight me about it. So
I'm not fighting anybody. My hands are down. My fists are not ablaze, and we're good.
Hey, your golf game, you can break 100, you're all right. Okay.
I've yet to break 100. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Man, hey, I'll get with you next week, all right?
Ron, take care. Adios.
All right, bye.
All right. Again, right now we're going to, by the way, make sure you head to wingam.com and get your weekly get your weekly picks in and get them submitted for week one. Week one of the NFL season kicks off tonight. Of course, all you got to do is at least get tonight's game at least submitted. But again, get the entire week's worth of games submitted. Kevin and we are going to submit our games at the same time coming up using Wing AM's Pro Football Challenge generator. So make sure you register.
Between me and you.
We will have the final announcement on what the prizes are coming up here in the coming days. But regardless, don't wait on that. Make sure you get to the website and register your picks for week one. As far as it's tough, I went through some of them today, and I'm like, man, I don't know. There's about 5 games where I'm like, I have no clue who I'm going to pick in this. It's worrying me just a little bit. All right, earlier today we were able to catch up with Jay Paterno. Jay Paterno has a new book out. Jay Paterno is part of the trustee group with the Penn State Nittany Lions, and he's also the son, of course, legendary head coach Joe Paterno. And we had a great conversation about his new book, but as well as, with his knowledge of everything going on behind the scenes, you're going to notice, if those of you who are out there right now listening to the sources of the Buckeye bloggers and everybody, you're going to notice right away that all those sources, he mocks them basically and says, look, there's a lot of rumors out there, but I wouldn't hold your breath about there being a Big Ten season coming up on October 10th. Here's our conversation with Jay Paterno. Again, we talk about the upcoming college football season and how much of it will feature the Big Ten, at least as early as October. He's Jay Paterno, the son of legendary head coach Joe Paterno. He joins us now. Welcome in, Jay. How are you, sir?
Good. How about you guys?
Good. I appreciate you hanging out with us. And, of course, we're going to cover a lot here over the coming minutes. We'll talk about your new book here in just a second. But as you heard us talking about it, I'm sure you're getting a ton of questions like this. With everything going on in college football right now, obviously the Big Ten not playing as of right now. Right? As of right now, are they going to play? You might know more about this than we do.
Well, being on the board of trustees of Penn State, you'd think I'd know. But no, look, in all fairness to the Big Ten, since this summer, they've been talking about return to play, medical issues, as well as scheduling. They've had 3 committees working on this. So even when they made the decision to postpone the season, they continue to work on it. So they're working towards that. And when they're comfortable that, we're comfortable we have a way to do this medically that protects everybody, then we'll do it. And, everybody wants it sooner or later. Nobody more than I do, because I love football.
Definitely. When you said,
go ahead, Justin.
Oh, my bad. So when you say, obviously to be covered medically, what do you say to those who are critical and say, well, obviously the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, and even the American Conference and others, they've been able to find enough information to say, hey, there is enough medical information out there for us to provide safer measures for our players. How do you combat that? Because I'm sure you get a lot of those as well. Well, how come they can play and we can't?
Well, the truth of the matter is, when you look at the Big Ten and the Pac-12, you look at 26 of the leading research institutions in the country. When you look at 17 of the top 20 medical schools in the country are not playing college football this fall. There's a lot of people with a lot of expertise that feel it's not safe for guys. And it came down to the myocarditis issue is one of the things that has come up. Where the Ohio State athletes, it was revealed that 13% of the guys that tested positive for COVID have heart issues, mild to me, there's no mild heart issue anywhere. But I mean, the point being is it's a heart issue. 15 to 17% of the Big Ten athletes who tested positive have that. So, when you're dealing with young people's lives, you got to err on the side of caution. And on the other hand, when you look at how disproportionately this has affected people in the black community, and you look at the number of black players out in the field, we've got an obligation to protect everybody. And I think that's important, especially in the era of Black Lives Matter. I mean, no one's talking about that element of this. And the Big Ten and the Pac-12 should be commended for putting the health of their players as a primary concern over money. It's not the answer we want, but it's the right answer, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy situation to be in. And my question, and a question a lot of Big Ten people want to know, is if the ACC, Big 12, and SEC, if they are able to finish this season and crown a national champion, how should we view it? Should we just keep it pushing and say they're the national champions, or put an asterisk by their championship?
Oh, big asterisk. Ohio State would beat every one of them, and I'm a Penn Stater saying that. I still think Ohio State got robbed against Clemson with that fumble call. I think it was a fumble call, and then targeting on Trevor Lawrence. That took out one of Ohio State's best defensive backs, and that changed the course of the game. So, my friends at Penn State aren't going to like me saying that, but Ohio State's got an unbelievable football team, and I think that's part of the reason it's frustrating, especially in Ohio.
You have, of course, parents who are protesting. I mean, in Columbus, there was just a few weeks ago, parents protesting at the shoe. They were protesting outside the Big Ten headquarters. How much do you think, I mean, with all those, with people continuing to voice their displeasure and continue trying, sending letters to Big Ten presidents and everything, how much of a role is that going to have on any of this? Or is all of that just, I don't want to say falling on deaf ears because it has a negative connotation to it, but how much of a role could that play in potentially getting the Big Ten season to return this fall?
Well, one thing I can tell you right now is university presidents are up to their eyeballs in terms of the COVID side of it. You got to remember that, there are on Big Ten campuses, there's roughly 607,000 students, and football players represent 0.2% of them. So, I mean, Wisconsin's up to 1,000 cases. We went from roughly 50 cases to 416, and we've only been back in school for 2 weeks. So those things are going to start to ramp up. So the presidents are trying to keep all the other students in school on campus. And then you say, well, we want to play football. That becomes another problem. And here's another thing nobody realizes. Even if you play without the fans in the stands, what do you think those students are going to do? They're going to gather in groups of 50 and 100 and watch the games together and create spread events. So, I mean, these presidents have got so much going on. And again, I say that as a former coach. I say that as a fan, as an alum that wants to see football every Saturday. Last Saturday absolutely sucked. Saturday morning, it was like 48 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. I'm like, I'm like, oh God, you're teasing us with football weather. So I get it. I completely get it. But as part of being a trustee, I have to see the other side of it now too.
With so many guys opting out, even Michael Parsons opt out, he was quoted by saying that COVID robbed Penn State of potentially one of the best teams of all time. Now, Penn State's had a lot of teams and a lot of championships. What intel could you tell me about this team, what they could potentially have been this season?
Well, when you say one of the great Penn State teams of all time, pump the brakes, okay? Because I've seen, I've been watching. I've been going to Penn State games since 1973, so I have a little more perspective than Michael Parsons. No disrespect to him, and I appreciate his enthusiasm and confidence. But until you produce, you don't make those kind of statements till you produce. And obviously, this team won't have that. But they've got a quarterback who's done some good things. Pat Freiermuth, who just opted out, but they had tight end. They've got a great running back. They've got some defensive. They had a chance to be pretty good. But again, I hate anybody that starts talking about the greatest teams of all time until you've produced something. And people talk about LSU. LSU last year, you have to give them credit. As many top 10s they beat, tight teams as they beat. But I've seen some pretty dang good football teams at Penn State. So I don't want to, that's no insult to Micah, but
All right, we got Jay Paterno with us here on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. Our conversation here midday brought to you by Arrowhead Tax Service, Accounting, and Payroll. Jay, it's interesting. You look at the SEC, and I look at that coaching room, and I see a coaching room that has a lot of national championships, a lot of really experienced coaches. How much of a role do you think coaches played in some of the meetings for the other conferences? And let's say that the Big Ten had Joe Paterno. Let's say that the Big Ten had an Urban Meyer or a Jim Tressel, and Mark D'Antonio was still at Michigan State. You have, a room with, and no disrespect to the current coaches in the Big Ten. James Franklin's great. I'm not disrespecting any of that. But would a heavier weight of names in the coaching world have maybe impacted the Big Ten's decision differently if they had more weight in that room, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. There's no question about it. And I don't know how they, I can't speak for all the other guys, but I know my dad would have said, we're talking about football. Let's make sure all the other kids can go to school here. The kids that are paying 35 and 50 grand to go to college here can get their on-campus experience, and then we'll worry about football. That's what he would have said. But I think there's no question. The Big Ten coaches are definitely trending younger. Those heavyweight guys. And again, some of these guys will develop into that unless they jump to the NFL or whatever the case may be. But you still have Kirk Ferentz out west. You got Barry Alvarez as an athletic director in Wisconsin, even though he's not coaching. I'm sure he had some things to say. Barry's not shy. But, I think the presidents ultimately had to make this call. And I think when you look at where universities are, you've got the medical people in the room and you have the lawyers in the room in terms of liability. So I think those people ultimately, at the end of the day, if a guy like Micah Parsons had played and gotten sick in COVID and could never play football again, you might be looking at a 9-figure settlement. So, there's part of that involved too. But you also have to be concerned that these guys don't get COVID and spread it to the rest of the students, because then you'll have those students suing you as well. So, those families. So, nobody likes lawyers until you need one.
Right. So with all this talk about a potential spring football season, where do you come down on that, being a purist of fall football?
It won't be the same. There's no question about it. But I want to see some football at some point. And you know what? If we get college football all fall, sorry about that.
Kevin, turn your phone off.
Yeah. Fall, and then we get some in the spring. That's not the worst thing either, because now we've got year-round football. So not that we want to make a habit of this.
Right.
All right. So your new book, Hot Seat, A Year Inside College Football's Pressure Cooker. Take us inside, for one, the motivation to release this book or to write this book, but also, and reading about it too. You're not using real life people within this book. However, a lot of this is from your experience, growing up in a football family, your experience as a coach, and just being around the game. There's a lot of background that goes into this book that you put out.
Yeah, the idea behind the book was, for years, 20-something years of coaching, saw a lot of stuff. Needless to say. And friends of mine say, you ought to write a book. So when I started to think about it, I go, I should write a book, but I better change names to protect the innocent and not some of the guilty. So what I decided was, let's make this a fictional novel, and let's not set it at Penn State, because that's what everybody would expect. And I want to challenge myself. So I basically, just to show you how the book is fiction, the previous season ends with Ohio State losing to Michigan. So that's fiction right there. And then we lose the ball game to Tennessee. So, and then the president tells the head coach of Ohio State, you've got 1 year to win and you're done. If you don't win, you're done. And it takes you through the recruiting pressures. It takes through the concussion, player trying to hide his concussion symptoms because he wants to go to the league. It gets you into a player accused of a crime that, falsely accused. And how does the coach deal with all those things? And how does he say, well, if I just cut this one corner, I'll get to next year maybe, and then I'll deal with the repercussions. So there's this constant challenge to his integrity. And also it gets into the pressures that are put on his marriage, with him so focused on the football and winning. And now his wife's saying, hey, you got a family here too. So it takes you into all those things. Now, the book is a novel, it's fiction, but the stories are very, very real.
Imagine that when you release your second book. I can't wait to read the COVID chapter that's going to be in that one, as far as that's concerned. Now, for those interested, I don't want to write about it. I'm tired of talking about it. My kids are looking at me. They're locked down with school. If my kids kill me, I want to make sure everybody understands I'm a COVID-related death. Not to make light of COVID. All right, I get it. Where can people
find this book? Well, it's on Amazon now, and also on my website, JayV, the letter V, jvpaterno.com. So either place right now, it's going to get distributed more widely as we get into the fall. But I think Buckeye fans will enjoy it. And I picked Ohio State not as a way to kind of single them out. It's, I have tremendous respect for that program over the years, and I recruited in the state for 17 years, and I know a number of guys that coached there. So it was picked out of respect for the program and wanting to branch out and challenge myself.
You recruited in the state of Ohio. Who's top couple players that come to mind for you that you recruited that maybe you didn't land that you really wish you could have, or that you did land as well?
Oh, there's a ton of ones that we wanted to get. I can just go on. Tressel was, I got to tell you, you got to hand it. Jim Tressel did an unbelievable job of locking the state down. But, Darryl Clark, we got out of Youngstown Ursuline, who was a Big Ten MVP for us, 2-time first team All Big Ten quarterback. Over the years, Kajana Carter, Joe Jaravicius. You can go down a list of guys like Curtis Enos. We've got a number of great players from the state of Ohio. And, I've always argued with people about Florida and Texas and California. Is you take the top 10, 15 guys in the state of Ohio, top 10, 15 guys in the state of Pennsylvania, you can put them against the top 10 or 15 guys in any state in the country. And you're going to be right there every step of the way. And, Ted Ginn up in Glenville, Trotwood Madison's had guys over the years. We ran into, we bumped heads there. Jim Place and Chaminade Julian for years. All those guys, I still know a bunch of those guys. So tremendous respect in Ohio. It's just a great, great football state.
All right. As we send you out with this, and again, we appreciate your time. Jay Paterno with us here, a trustee at Penn State. And I'm curious, what's your role as a trustee? What's your day-to-day like right now as far as just the conversations you're having? What is the conversations you're having with the school president right now?
Well, we have a big group of trustees, so we're generally talking amongst ourselves. And then the guy who's the chair of our board and the vice chair, they are the ones directly talking to the president more so than anybody else. But we are having calls every week where normally we meet 5 times a year. We're talking almost every week, sometimes more often, sometimes a little less often, but we're getting updates on everything. And we're getting constant communications as the number of cases on campus as they're going up. You bring the students back. The reality is we're asking them to change behavior patterns, and that's difficult. Students have more canine tendencies in terms of they want to be social, they want to be around each other, they want to gather in packs, whereas we're asking them to be feline and sit on the couch and ignore everybody, and that's just unrealistic sometimes. But so it's a constant battle right now to try and make sure we can keep the campus open. So those are the main conversations right now.
I have one last question for you.
A lot of rumors that presidents are going to make. Go ahead.
I have one more question for you. Justin and I have picked teams that we're going to be rooting for this season since our team can't play. He's picked Clemson. I've picked Florida State. Do you have a backup team that you'll be rooting for? I know Pitt won't be one of them, but will you be rooting for anybody? Will you be finding a new team just to root for this one season?
First of all, Clemson, as an Ohio State fan, you cannot, or in Ohio, you cannot.
I try to tell them.
You're done. You may as well move. Get over the border to Indiana or get, no, I'm kidding.
Buckeye fans got mad at me years ago when they lost 31-0 to Penn or to Clemson in the playoff. I said OH 31-0, and that since then Buckeye fans and I haven't always met. I know. I'm on rocky ground anyway.
You can't get, but no, I haven't really picked anybody out yet. But you know what? All kidding aside, Pat Narduzzi at Pitt I know really well and really like. So I root for them when they're not playing Penn State. I really like him. I think he's doing a nice job at Pitt. And I would actually like to see Penn State and Pitt play every year if they could make it happen, because I think it's good for the state. It really is. But, scheduling is what it is.
This will be the last thing as we send you out. Are you able to give us any info as when you're hearing when the next vote could be for presidents about the upcoming fall season?
No, there's a lot of rumors. There's tons of rumors. There's more rumors than there are facts. And I think, the 3 committees right now are where the action is. The committee on the medical side, the committee on return to competition, and the committee on scheduling is where the action is right now. And I think those people kind of, once they get to a point, then I think they'll talk with the presidents. The presidents will get back to this. And hopefully, we're all rooting for it sooner than later. But, when you're dealing with young people's lives, you're better off being a week too late than one day too early.
All right. So should fans be holding their breath for an October 10th kickoff?
I don't think so.
Like, get the hell out of here, man.
It's 4 weeks from now. And, a lot of, we've just suspended all athletic activities on campus because we had 48 athletes test positive. So it would take us a couple weeks to start ramping that back up. So they got October 10th. If that happens by some miracle, I'm not going to complain.
Not us either.
Yeah.
Check out Jay Paterno's new book, Hot Seat, A Year Inside College Football's Pressure Cooker. Jay, thank you so much for your time. It was great being able to talk some college football with you. Thank you again. Much appreciated.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Pleasure.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon is going to be partly cloudy with a high near 82. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 62. And tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high near 81. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. Our Roosters family would like to thank all of our loyal Roosters guests who have supported us during these challenging times. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to keep our team members employed. We are striving to do everything we can to keep you and our team safe. Find a location near you at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Did you know Brown's Nursery's annual stock reduction auction is on Saturday, September 12th? You can save hundreds, even thousands of dollars on high-quality nursery stock, trees, and shrubs. The auction starts at 7:19 a.m. and we'll have four auction rings running all day long, and you can jump in on the bidding anytime. Brown's Nursery, located half-mile north of Phillipsburg on State Route 49, 4 miles north of I-70. Take exit 24. Masks and social distancing are required. Go to brownsnursery.com for more details.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I've had CertaPro painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro Painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time, they get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro Painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
It's the summer clearance event at New Carlisle Chrysler. I'm Chris Toby. At New Carlisle, our primary focus is your safety and ours. We are practicing safe social distancing. Probably like you, we hate it, but we are wearing our masks and we are diligently cleaning the dealership. If you're more comfortable handling your sales and service needs from home, we can help you. Visit TobyAuto.com where you can complete all aspects of the vehicle purchase, including financing and trade appraisals, schedule service, or simply get a question answered. Most importantly, stay safe out there. We will get through this together.
Rittal North America LLC in Urbana has several great opportunities for you. Rittal will be conducting a hiring event at their facility on Saturday, September 12th, between 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. for on-the-spot interviews. They are seeking experienced assembly operators, welders, machine operators, and paint loaders. Starting wage up to $16 per hour. Rittal offers outstanding benefits and opportunities. Identification is required for entry access. Rittal is proud to be an affirmative action and equal opportunity employer.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Back to work at that job, the one you realized isn't for you? Well, that's if you're lucky, right? Make your move. You can start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Third
floor study hall.
My dining room table. Homeroom Monday and Tuesday. My living room Wednesday to Friday.
Wherever school is this year, Staples has amazing prices on everything like lap desks, computers, and UV sanitizers. This week, the 15-inch Lenovo IdeaPad 3 laptop with Intel Core i3 processor is just $399. You save $130. Shop in-store, order online, or pick up curbside. School on, save on. Staples. Ends 9/12. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
Do business more powerfully during Dell's semi-annual sale. Save up to 45% on Dell computers and servers with Intel Core processors. It's time for you to upgrade to new modern devices with Windows 10. Also, save on electronics and accessories, plus free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call 877-ASK-DELL to talk to a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find just the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/business deals.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Right now, you can soak in the savings at the Home Depot Days of Doing bath event with new low prices on the latest, greatest faucets. Vanities from as little as $159. Plus, get up to 40% off all online bath essentials, as well as free delivery for online vanities. So relax and restore your space with beautiful bath savings now at homedepot.com/bath. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Valid through September 27th, U.S. only.
Save up to 45% during Dell's semi-annual sale on business laptops and desktops with Intel Core processors. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
ESPN Dayton's fan hotline, 937-210-9676. Something on your mind? Let us know. Leave a voicemail or text us your hot sports take. All takes will be heard weekday afternoons on the Justin Kinner Show from 3 to 6 p.m. Save 937-210-9676 in your phone. It's the ESPN Dayton fan hotline. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, big thanks to Jay Paterno for taking time and hanging out with Kevin and I here earlier this afternoon. Good interview there. Again, if you missed it, don't worry. Head to wingam.com. At the upper left-hand corner of your screen, you will see in the menu tab the Watch ESPN Dayton tab. Click on that. You'll be able to watch every Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash in its entirety, as well as select clips and interviews down at the bottom, including the interview with Jay Paterno. Of course, follow along on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. And you'll be able to get notified anytime we go live, which we will be doing a lot of next week. Unfortunately, I picked a bad week to take off next week. I mean, after the Browns are going to beat the Ravens coming up this weekend, and I'm not even going to be on the air to be obnoxious about it. But don't worry, I'm off next week. But Kevin and I, and Keith Byers, he just doesn't know it yet. We are going to be hitting Facebook Live next week a few times throughout the week just to touch base. And I promise you, here's what's going to happen. Monday. You won't hear from me if the Browns lose.
We know that.
But I promise you, my ass will be on Facebook Live all day, letting you know about the Browns winning. And they will win.
Okay, so set the scene. Sunday, 1 o'clock, Florida. Where will you be?
Just leaving Dayton. We're leaving at 1 on Sunday.
Are you serious?
So thank you for that. Thank you for reminding.
Are you serious?
Set the scene. Sunday, Florida, 1 o'clock. Where will you be? I'm like, just leaving Dayton. Yes, I am. We are leaving for Dayton at 1 because we have to board our dogs. So we have to, So there.
So you're not even going to be able to watch the game?
No. Nope.
That's the joy of radio.
I found out all the crybaby fans in Athens, by the way, found out that they won't be able to watch Joey B. They're only going to be able to watch the Browns.
Really?
Which, by the way, they don't even play at the same time. The Browns play at 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Bengals don't play till 4.
Okay.
But the contractual stuff over there too, and that's the tough thing. Like the NFL has to figure out a way, like with some of this stuff. But again, I don't know.
You know
it's
how
more
NFL is. They want that money. You want that Sunday NFL package. I forget how much the Sunday NFL package was. I had it for like 2 years, but I had it for free with the way my cable is set up. But once it was over, I wasn't paying for it. Like, you know.
Yeah, DirecTV caught on to me. I become a new customer at the beginning of football season, then I'd go somewhere else and then be a new customer next fall. No, it doesn't work that way because they actually make you stay like married to them for long term.
Yes.
The prenup's expensive, so it's like as far as that goes. But no, this weekend I'm pumped. I'm pumped for tonight's game. Don't hear, get me wrong, but this weekend, man, I'm excited. Browns, Ravens, Bengals, and Chargers. We're going to be giving you our Week 1 NFL picks coming up here, top of the hour, 5 o'clock. So here in 20 minutes, Kevin and I will go down the entire game. Plus, I've already jotted down. There are quite a few games that the lines have surprised the heck out of me. There are teams who are favored to win, or favored to win by a lot more than I would, give them credit for. Speaking of lines, how about this one? Tyler Schrody is drinking early on a Thursday, apparently, because he writes into the show that the Ravens by 100. COVID. Well, you got tickle in your thing. You got that COVID. It's a good thing we have. And you're worried about me going to Florida, bringing it back. Justin's going to go to Florida, bring COVID back. Save this clip because it's going to be really bad if I do.
Oh, good.
Schrody, the Ravens, but never mind. Anyways, David Shaw says the ticket is like $379.
Really?
Yep.
No thanks. No thanks.
And then he also goes on to say, because remember I said if the Browns lose, you won't be hearing from me Monday, but if they win, you will. And Shaw goes on to say, well, we won't be hearing from Justin on Monday. Oh, yes, you will. So last year, the Browns played at Baltimore in the first matchup of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I predicted them to win. Everyone just lost their mind. They said, you were the biggest homer, blah, blah, blah. That was the week that I got to do Golick and Wingo that week. And I got to go on national radio. And, of course, Golick Jr., they laughed at me like crazy. They said, of all the hot takes you're going to bring on national radio, you're going to go on national radio and predict the Browns to beat the Ravens. I said, yes. Well, the Browns beat the Ravens that week. So I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of anybody. Anyone who is downplaying, I'm telling you right now. You won't Ravens by 10. You won't win Ravens by 10. Okay.
Now, you still going with your 12-4, right?
Yeah. The Browns will go 12-4. That's fine.
All summer long, you said they were going to lose this first game, and then rest of the way.
I said I'm worried about the first game. And I am worried about it. It's the Ravens with MVP quarterback Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But the Browns have the second best quarterback in the AFC North. He's tied with, until we find out what Big Bubba Ben, if he's actually, until I see what he looks like.
Slim. He's slim. Slim down.
But I do know this. The worst quarterback in the AFC North is Joe Burrow. By the way, him getting that captain, that's laughable. Even Keith Byers laughed at that and said no rookie should get a captain.
He's old school. Of course he's going to say that.
No. Nope, I agree with him. Chris Harold says Justin is drinking early today.
Cheers.
Shaw says ha 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 12-4. Ha 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 ha. There we go. We're live on Facebook, by the way. So if you want to jump in on the conversation, that's a great way to do so as well. I can't wait to get into our NFL picks coming up around the corner. I tell you what, Clayton Kershaw. Switching to baseball, we're going to close out with the baseball topic here real quick. Clayton Kershaw is not a fan whatsoever, Kev, of the runner on second base in extra innings. Mm-hmm. He says it's not real baseball.
Right.
And he hopes it's just for this year. He understands, but he doesn't want to see it again. My thing is I think you are going to see it again. So when we come back, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to tell you why I actually kind of like it. And at the same time, that's not even the dumbest overtime rule. I know we don't call it overtime in baseball, but when you think about all the other overtimes in other sports, baseball, the runner on second, that's not even the worst one. At least baseball still resembles a baseball game when you go into extra innings. Football turns into this weird gimmicky WWE Money in the Bank on a ladder match or something. Like, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Basketball still. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. 457-9464. That's the number. to call in and join in on the conversation. Speaking of baseball, how about last night, Kev? For those watching on Facebook, a little trivia question for everybody. You could see the trivia question there. We'll have the answer for you in a couple minutes when we come back. But last night, Kev, the Atlanta Braves scored 29 runs in their win versus the Marlins. How about that?
Right.
The 29 runs scored in a single game by the Braves. It's the second most runs scored by a team since 1900. What team holds the record for most runs scored in a game, and what is the record total of runs? So, again, the Braves scored 29 runs last night.
Right.
That's the second most runs scored in the game. Who scored the most runs in a game since 1900, and how many? We'll have the answer for you when we come back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on a Thursday. We're also going to have our NFL picks coming up for you at the top of the hour. Get your picks submitted. Go to wingam.com. Submit your weekly picks. We're going to be going through those coming up. I also have some of the most surprising betting lines of the weekend as well. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Next, David Shaw says it's not real baseball. Well, you don't follow a real baseball or football team, so there you go. How about that? We'll be back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
I'm thinking of you. What kinder words could be more meaningful at a time like this? At First Florist and Greenhouses, we know everyone is coping the best they can. And when hugs are not possible, a kind word or gesture can bring comfort and a smile. So today, make that phone call or send a heartfelt note to someone you care about. And if you'd like to send a fresh bouquet of flowers, we can help with that. We're First Florist and Greenhouses at 1306 Troy Street in Dayton, a local family-owned business since 1905. And we're thinking of you.
Looking for fall flavor that really brings the heat? Enjoy a home-style meal with a kick at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, thanks to our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $6.49. Dip into your spicy side with a big helping of our Spicy Jumbo Dippers, an individual side, a fluffy biscuit, and a regular drink, all at a great price. It's the easy way to fire up your taste buds. Get a home-style meal made easy with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $6.49. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations, serving the greater Dayton and Cincinnati area, is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the best value in bath and shower remodeling, and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that is safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase. Visit on Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com and upgrade today.
Hi folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you know, you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper watering, still gain a full summer's growth. We keep our garden center fully stocked all summer long with thousands of good, healthy trees, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, and annuals, because we know that some folks just can't get it all done in the spring. Also, this time of year, there are lots of bargains all over our 6-acre nursery and greenhouses. We have potted rose bushes as low as $14.95, plats of annuals starting at $12.95, and hanging baskets as low as $6.95. We still have a great selection of Rose of Sharon, boxwoods, hydrangeas, and barberry. So come out to 1309 Brant Pike, and remember, we're open 7 days.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package and the Double Take Tire specials. Call today for your appointment, 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
And now a game of commercial chicken brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, you know, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Right now, you can soak in the savings at the Home Depot Days of Doing bath event with new low prices on the latest, greatest faucets. Vanities from as little as $159. Plus, get up to 40% off all online bath essentials, as well as free delivery for online vanities. So relax and restore your space with beautiful bath savings now at homedepot.com/bath. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Valid through September 27th, U.S. only.
It's a new season, and it's Sport Clips haircuts. All of our stylists are clean certified and guy smart. So come in and get yourself back in the game with our legendary MVP experience. It's a mancation with our hot steam towel, relaxing shampoo, and a winning cut. Check in online and walk out with confidence. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
And you be stepping out like a pro.
Did you know Geico's now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies? That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? Your dentist to actually believe you?
And you're flossing every day.
Absolutely.
Great. And you're cutting down on your sweets?
Of course.
Wonderful. Then I don't even need to look in there.
Great. See you in 6 months.
There's never been a better time to switch to Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th. Limitations apply. Visit geico.com for details.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Hooray fans, listen up. This season, Pepsi is looking for one Bengals fan to sign a fan endorsement deal. The winner gets gear, season tickets, a photo shoot, a billboard, and so much more. All you have to do is participate in the weekly challenges at MadeForBengalsWatching.com, and you could be named the official Hooray fan. So, are you Bengals enough? Pepsi, made for football watching. Open to residents of Indiana and Ohio. 18 plus. For rules, visit MadeForBengalsWatching.com. Contest ends 11/21/20. Grab some delicious, refreshing Pepsi at Kroger before the next Bengals game day. Pepsi, made for football watching. Head to Kroger and grab Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Pro-grade brands, big savings, and all the right services to keep your business moving are just some of the reasons why Lowe's is the new home for pros.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER, and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash, back with you here on a Thursday, 457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. Week 1 of the NFL season kicks off tonight. Head to wingam.com and submit your weekly picks. We'll be announcing the prize pool coming up here in the coming days, so we are excited about that. Browns and Ravens kick off 1 o'clock coming up this Sunday, and then, of course, the Bengals and the Chargers, and we'll take a look at those matchups coming up here in a little bit. Every Friday, Kevin and I will be doing Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, bring you 3 and out. 3 reasons why the Browns will win, 3 reasons why they'll lose, 3 reasons why the Bengals will win, and 3 reasons why they will lose. Now, when it comes to the 3 reasons why the Bengals will win, it's going to be tough to hear Kev with Kinner laughing so hard in the background, but I'll try my hardest to keep it down as far as that's concerned. Let's see. We had some stuff coming in here real quick on Facebook. Where did this go? We were talking, of course, about Joe Burrow being named captain of the Bengals as a rookie. By the way, he doesn't even have preseason games under his belt. Shaw says him getting captain makes no sense to me. Chris Harold on Facebook says his teammates were the ones who pushed for him to be named captain, and he could think of no better reason to give it to him. Why? When did the Bengals turn into this like the poster boy for after school special? Like they're so just buttoned up and proper, and they're just, oh my goodness. I saw yesterday, by the way, this was the dumbest thing I'd ever seen, that I forgot which writer for the Bengals put it out there. And by the way, the writers that cover the Bengals do a fantastic job, so I'm not going at them, but I laughed because I forgot, I think it was Paul Dehner Jr., that's who it was. He had tweeted out that, man, Joe Burrow, he just gets it. He's speaking right to the hearts of Bengals fans. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So I read the quote. This is the quote from Joe Burrow. Apparently no quarterback has ever said this in the history of football, that he's there to win championships, nothing more, nothing less. Wow. And we have Baker Mayfield, and the Bengals have that guy, the guy that wants to win championship. What are we thinking? I mean, and what are you thinking? You have Big Ben. I mean, has Big Ben ever said anything like that? Has Big Ben ever said that he's all about winning? I mean, he jokes about retiring from time to time.
That is, he's Big Ben's
a bad example.
Big Ben's a big diva.
Lamar Jackson. I mean, I feel bad for the Ravens that they have an MVP quarterback who doesn't want to win the championship. Wow. I mean, and the Browns. I mean, Baker Mayfield's a clown. I mean, people don't like Baker. Stop. Joe Burrow says, "I'm here to win championships, nothing more." Stop. We know that. That's not a headline, by the way. That's a really stupid quote.
Well, you can't get mad at him for saying that. That's what he's there for, and he's saying it. Maybe you should just be directing your anger towards the fans that are golfing over it.
But I don't think the fans golf over that either. I hate, there's certain headlines that, like, for instance, during basketball season, I'll see it in the Dayton Flyer Daily News. There's Anthony Grant confident that team could win this weekend. That's not a headline. That's a waste of, I mean, I will never get those 3 seconds back reading a stupid headline like that. Why don't you put Anthony Grant doubts they could win this weekend? Now you got my attention. Wow, the head coach doubt. That's a headline. That's, no. When you put obvious stuff, Joe Burrow wants to win championships. Duh. Like, well, of course he does. I mean, that's not a headline. It's a waste of everyone's time as far as that's concerned, at least in my opinion. And that's
well, let me take you to the music side of radio. I learned a long time ago that the general audience that listens to radio isn't as hip as you think they are. Just because Kev Nash is really into music and said, like, oh man, let me play these deep cuts, this track 7 on this
Cut
new
15.
Meek, Cut 15 on the brand new Meek Mill album. They don't want to hear that song. They want to hear the single that they hear at the club, that they hear on the commercials all the time. They don't want to hear that. Most people want to be told what they want to hear, as we're finding out in politics and in everything going on with college football.
Oh, hold on. David Shaw has been commenting on our post for a long time. Never met David. David's a cool dude.
What's up, Dave?
And never in the history of the time that he has followed the show, written in the comment section saying, agreed, Justin, not a headline. I have never, ever read those words. I agree with Justin. And then he also says, agreed with that as well, Kev. And there it is. It gets ruined. It's not like I don't care if people agree with me. I just hate that everyone always agrees with Kev.
Level-headed, man.
Like, we can open up this window and say, I could say that it's sunny out. Kev will say it's raining, and we'll have 10 comments saying, I agree with Kev. Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? It never fails. It never, ever fails, which is totally fine. All right, I'm excited. We got our NFL picks coming up. There's quite a few lines that have really stood out to me that have surprised me. All right, it's time to get to our trivia question here as we head into hour number 3. Let's take a look. We talked about this last night. How about the Braves last night? 29 runs.
Ridiculous.
Now, that's just, I can't even imagine watching a game or that. Like, I looked at the score last night, and I'm trying to, imagine the Reds, who are, by the way, quite the run-supporting team themselves, by the way. They put up 3 last night. By the way, for you Reds fans out there that like to blame the mistakes of the Reds on bad luck, so whenever they play well, are we saying that they just got lucky? Like, right? Like, that, that's the thing. So the Atlanta Braves scored 29 runs in their win last night versus the Marlins. The 29 runs scored in a single game by the Braves. It's the second most runs scored by a team since 1900. What team holds the record for most runs scored in a game? And what is that total? Do you know, Kev?
I don't. Of course, I was going to guess the Yankees because it seems like the Yankees have all the records. So I would say the Yankees with 30 runs, even though I know it's wrong.
So we'll get a couple, again, for those who are trying to answer the trivia question. John Cook on Facebook, he messages in, again, in the chat section. If you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube, you're able to chat into the show, or on Twitter as well. Rangers scored 30. in the early 2000s. Let's see. David Shaw said 30 by the Rangers in 2017. He does correct himself and say 2007. So Keith Tolliver wants to know, how the hell do you win by 20 and get a save? Well, I'm going to pull Keith, I get it. By the way, I'm going to pull an excuse out of the Reds playbook. Oh, good luck, bad luck, luck plays a role in everything. By the way, so the answer is the Texas Rangers. They did score 30 versus the Orioles back in 2007. 30 runs. 30 runs. That's the most. So the Braves, I mean, how do you score 29 runs in a game and still have to be told, yeah, you still came up short of the most runs scored in a game? How do you do that?
I mean, how does Milwaukee score 19 runs and they're not even the lead story in baseball? They won 19-0 in baseball, and nobody's talking about them because the Braves scored 29 runs.
19-0 and what? Who won?
Yeah.
Who?
The Brewers won 19-0 last night over the Tigers.
Oh, interesting.
And nobody knows because
what bad luck for the Tigers. And what good luck for the Brewers. I mean, come on. By the way, the jokes are coming in. Chris said a complete guess. Brooklyn Dodgers, 32 runs. We've already given the answer. 30 runs by the Rangers in 2007 against the Orioles. Schrody says 29 runs by the Braves last night. Hardy har is more points than the Browns will score the first 2 weeks combined.
Dun.
Gumby couldn't stretch that far, Schrody. I mean, good for you. Let's see. What else do we got? More jokes. Chris on Facebook says, are the Braves 29 runs more points than the Browns are going to score this weekend? Yes, actually. Yes.
They after you, man.
They're going to be real silent on Monday. How do you score 9 and still lose by 20?
Hey, you know what? The Browns are going to win because you're not going to be able to watch the game.
Because I'll be driving week 1 of the NFL season, and we're leaving at 1 o'clock. But hey, you know what? The end game is all that matters, and we're going to Florida. I don't care. The COVID capital of the world. How about that?
Rona.
All right, folks, hour 2 in the books, hour 3 coming up. Let's give our week 1 NFL picks. Head to wingam.com, submit your picks, or wait for us because we're going to get registered as well at wingam.com together, and we're both going to give our picks for all the matchups, including tonight's matchup, the Chiefs and the Texans. That's coming up next, hour 3, the Justin Kinner Show. When we come back, real quick, don't worry, Kev, it's more than the Steelers are going to score as well. Ha-ha! Pow! Exactly. Third best quarterback in the AFC North lead the Steelers. You'll get to see him on Monday.
Hall of Famer.
Huh?
Hall of Famer.
Okay.
2 Super Bowls.
Okay. So we're going to bring Joe Montana back to play.
I'm just saying.
You can hang
He's
on.
currently playing, though. Big Ben's still playing.
Is he, though?
Still playing.
Is he?
2 Super Bowls.
Is he?
Going to the Hall of Fame.
We'll be back in a moment. I hate the Steelers. Not as...
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dealing with battery problems? We've got you. Let's start with a free battery test. If you just need a free charge, we can help with that too. And if it's time for a new battery, we've got you covered. We're the only place you can find Duralast, the batteries more consumers choose. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination, where help is always in stock. Claims based on a proprietary consumer study and data from the MPD Group 2019.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Kate Courtley, and this is my new show, Can You Survive This Podcast? I'll be drawing on my years as a former Navy SEAL platoon commander, sniper, and CIA contractor. The show is designed to teach you techniques that will increase your chances of survival if you happen to find yourself or your family in any life-threatening disaster scenario imaginable. Subscribe and listen for free on Apple Podcasts. Can you survive this podcast?
Hey race fans, Marty Smith here. Is there a hometown original hero in your hometown who's gone above and beyond in serving your local community during this year's pandemic? If so, Smithfield wants to help you honor them. Share their stories and feature their names on the Smithfield number 10 race car later this year at Martinsville. So whether your hero is a nurse, EMT, police officer, or grocery store worker, nominate them at SmithfieldHometownHeroes.com and upload a 1-minute video that tells their story. Contest ends September 13th, 2020. No purchase necessary.
Hi, I'm calling on behalf of the Mice Nest.
Mice Nest?
Yes, Mice Nest. It's a nest of mice. They finished chewing through your RV wiring, so the fire should start soon.
Can we cancel that?
Oh, sorry. Once scheduled, they can't really stop because they're mice. A nest of them.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
Oh, and if you could stay on the line for a quick survey.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with home daily lanes. $2,000 sign-on bonus, great pay and benefits. Contact Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation. Driven to succeed.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth partying with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says I'm a catch more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Pro-grade brands, big savings, and all the right services to keep your business moving are just some of the reasons why Lowe's is the new home for pros.
The Reds are on the radio.
Cincinnati Reds baseball is finally here. There are only 60 games this season, so don't miss a second of the action.
Winker hammers one to deep right field, and that is a no-doubter.
Catch every game right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
Hour 3, welcome back in. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here. It is the Justin Kinner Show on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We welcome you back in. Of course, we're going to get into our NFL picks for week 1 coming up here in just a moment. But just a reminder, we will be back at it again tomorrow night for one. These weeks are flying by already. We're already in week 3 of the high school football season, Kev. And our week 3 matchup features the Wayne Warriors on the road at the Centerville Elks. Keith Byers, College Football Hall of Famer, and myself, we will be live at Centerville tomorrow, bringing you the action for our ESPN Dayton High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Kettering Health Network Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. 7 o'clock to kick off, and you can catch all of it right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Reds back at it tonight. 8:15 will be the first pitch. 7:45 the pregame. Last night we saw a gem pitched from Trevor Bauer, because that's what happens when Kinner talks bad about an athlete, and I try to convince people how horrible they are. Now, I've actually never once tried to convince you that Trevor Bauer's not a good pitcher, but like people keep saying, when you pitch the way he does, you can kind of do whatever the hell you want, and there you go. But man, last night he was on. And they shut out the Cubs last night. They got 3 runs early in the game. It was basically just the opposite of what happened 2 games ago when the Cubs put 3 runs up early on the board and never looked back. Same thing happened last night when the Reds were able to strike often and early and were able to get a shot. I need to go back and count. I can't think of a game where the Reds have won via shutout this year. That might.
I don't think they have.
That might have been their first shutout victory of the year. They've been shut out quite a few times as far as the other end, on those unlucky nights. But last night, there's no luck involved last night. Strictly talent. Talent only wins games, but apparently luck is why you lose games. Bad luck. We'll get into some more Reds discussion coming up here more and more. I can't believe we're like less than 20 games now.
It's crazy.
Less than 20 games. The playoffs coming up around the corner. But what's very important now is the fact that, good for baseball, by the way, because we talked about all the potholes that they were going to have to try to avoid. They were going to have to try to and fight through a lot of distractions and fight through a lot of issues and a bumpy road early, but yet here we are. And a lot of the questions that we were asking about baseball early on are now starting to be asked about football. Do we think the NFL season will finish? Yes, the NFL season will be finished. Doesn't mean there won't be some hiccups along the way. There were some hiccups along the way for baseball. Basketball didn't have any hiccups, now mainly because that's in a bubble. So it's not really fair to use that. Hockey didn't really have any issues. They were within a bubble-type atmosphere as far as that's concerned. So I think football and baseball are going to be those outliers because they're approaching it as normal as possible. Football will be the only one that approaches the season during a pandemic in a normal fashion. Mm-hmm. It's the same amount of games that they were supposed to play. The playoffs are supposed to start when they're supposed to start. Like, I'm not saying there won't be some delays or whatever throughout the year, but football is the only one that said, you know what, we are going to start the season on time. We're going to get rid of some preseason games, which is fine. But overall, nothing's changed. Like in baseball, you have the runner on second. You have the DH in both leagues. You have 60-game seasons. You have 7-inning doubleheaders. There's just so much. The playoffs are going to be held in bubbles, and it's crazy. By the way, Doug Morgan coming in hot once again. OBJ is going to dominate cover 2 this year. There you go. Well played, Doug. Well played. With that being said, we are officially here, though. I know many people thought, and I've told you this before, Kev, the reason I think that if the NFL season starts, that it's definitely going to finish, because I think the most difficult thing to do is to be able to start something during a pandemic. Baseball, the most difficult thing they did was not to maintain the season. It was to get the season started. You could make adjustments as you go. High school football, I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, we're 2 weeks in and we're about to call our 3rd game of the season tomorrow night. I believe it. So the most difficult thing was getting it off the ground and rolling. Right. How many days of practice did these kids have before they found out that, okay, we actually are going to have a season? 10 days. 10 days before the season actually kicked off is when they actually got the final thumbs up that these kids were actually going to get to play. 2 days suck. Football practices in the preseason, those are the worst. That's the worst. And those kids were battling through all of that, not knowing if they would have a season. The most difficult thing to do is to actually get the season up off the ground. High school did it. Some colleges are doing it. Look at the Big Ten. It's difficult to get the season going. The ACC is just praying to get to this weekend and get kickoff going so that you could at least continue to move forward. So here we are, kicking off the NFL season tonight. You have the Texans, you have the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, the 2 highest paid quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League. And I can't tell you how excited I am to tune into that game tonight for the Chiefs. I'm pumped for that matchup. But let's go ahead and take a look at our picks for week 1. Again, I'm going to be taking a look at some of the more impressive lines, by the way. Again, we're live on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show, tune in that way. I appreciate you tuning in, whether it's on radio, on air, or on the stream at wingam.com. But again, we're live on Facebook. You can watch the show. The chat section is open at the bottom. Leave your comments in the comment section. We'll pull it right in to the show. Register, submit your picks at wingam.com. That's what Kevin and I are doing right now. We are going down the list and submitting our picks as we currently sit here. And again, we're going to be keeping a running tally throughout, and bragging rights are definitely on the line. By the way, real quick, remember earlier I said Baker or Big Ben, the third best quarterback in the AFC North. That didn't sit well with some. David Shaw says, third best, please. He goes on to say that Lamar, Big Ben, and Burrow and Baker are tied. That's a cop-out. They're not. You can't say they're tied. And I said, yes, I do believe that. I said, here's the order for the best quarterbacks in the AFC North. Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Big Ben, Case Keenum, RG3, and then Joe Burrow. Oh, man. I'm just saying.
I'm here for it, man. I'm here for all the trash talk. I'm here for all the smoke, because eventually these teams have to play, and it all settled in.
Browns Bengals week 2. You know what's funny though? My return to the airwaves will be a week from Monday.
Oh, if they are 0-2?
Yeah. Because and you know what? There's a good chance that I'm picking the Browns to beat the Ravens this coming up weekend, but there is a good chance that the Bengals could beat the Chargers with Tyrod Taylor.
T-Mobile.
If the Bengals start out 1-0 and the Browns start out 0-1, it's going to make me sick. But don't worry, both teams will be 1-1 if that's the case after week 2, because the Browns are going to lay at that smackdown on the Bengals. But that's nor here nor there. All right, let's get to it. The Justin Kinner Show, please. I'm confused. The Justin Kinner Show, please.
What happened?
I don't know. That comes from David Shaw.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? Okay.
All right, let's hit the ground running. Seahawks, Falcons, week 1. They kick off 1:00 on Sunday. And again, you have the Falcons. They were able to go out and they added a really good running back, obviously. And they were, and you pair that up, you add that into the mix, of course, with Julio Jones, and you have Matt Ryan, a former NFL MVP. You add Todd Gurley into the mix. I'm excited about what they could do offensively, but it's going to be the defense that I'm concerned about. When you look at this line already, Seattle, only a 2-point favorite. ESPN simulated season has the Seahawks missing the playoffs and going 8-8. Seahawks a 2-point favorite over the Falcons. What say you?
Seahawks with the straight up win. Atlanta's defense has been a trouble spot since the Super Bowl. They haven't been able to stop anybody. They can score, but they can't stop anybody. Seattle has defense. They have a better quarterback. I'm going with the Seahawks.
This is bad, Schrody. He said that he changed the name of his fantasy team to 2 Girls, 1 Odell. We were having a good conversation there, too. Oh, well. Well played, Schrody. Well played. So one more time, who do you have in that matchup?
Seahawks.
I have the Seahawks as well. It's an interesting, that's a close line. The Falcons, by the way, ESPN, their simulated season, have the Falcons missing the playoffs. They play in easily, I think, the toughest division in football. Yeah. You have the Saints and you have the Buccaneers, 2 potential Super Bowl favorites right there out of the NFC. And they have the Falcons going 9-7 and missing the playoffs. This is a good Falcons team. They're going to win a lot of games, but they are at home. But see, home field advantage doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean anything.
Not this year.
At least early on, I don't know, if the capacity of fans, increases as the season goes on. I said the Seahawks, but I kind of want to change it to the Falcons because the Falcons are good. I got to keep it. I said Seahawks. I'll say Seahawks, but I'm telling you right now, Falcons, it's a good chance they come away with the win in that one coming up this Sunday. On to the next one. How about the Jets and the Bills? The Jets are a 6.5-point underdog.
Bills.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Bills. Too much defense, too much power running game. Stephon Diggs, a new weapon. Buffalo all day. What do the Jets have besides Le'Veon Bell?
It's a good point. That's a good point. It's a very good point. Falcons are not a good team. How do you figure? What do you mean, how do you figure? I mean, for one, this is a team that's 2 years removed from the Super Bowl. On top of that, and they improved their run game. You add Todd Gurley into the mix. You have arguably the best receiver in football in Julio Jones, and Matt Ryan, a former MVP quarterback. I don't think he's top 5 quarterback in the National Football League, but he's hovering on the outside of the top 5. What do you mean, why not? I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the most well-versed as far as the defense is concerned of the Falcons, but the biggest thing that the Falcons have going against them is that they play in the same division as Tom Brady and Drew Brees. That's why, if they miss the playoffs, that's why they miss the playoffs. It's not because they're not a good football team. We also see a lot of teams struggle the year after making it to the Super Bowl.
Right.
All right. You know what I mean? Like that, the Rams are night and day different. They were a night and day different team. They actually had more skill players on their roster last year than they did the year they went to the Super Bowl, and they were worse last year.
Right.
It's just that it's tough to kind of rebound mentally after losing in the Super Bowl. I don't know what it is, and we saw the same thing happen with the Falcons. They were at 28-3. We all know what happened next, of course, with the Patriots coming back to win that Super Bowl. The Falcons have not been the same since then, as far as that's concerned. How about this? And by the way, Jets, Bills. I like the Bills. They add Stephon Diggs. I kind of like that. I thought that's where I thought they were going to go out and get a bigger name running back. I thought that they were going to potentially pursue an Adrian Peterson. Not a big name, but I thought he could have helped. But I did that. When Fournette was available, I did think that the Bills were potentially going to go after him.
I like that. I would have liked him going to Buffalo.
Buffalo, again, a 6.5-point favorite. I'm going to pick Buffalo over the Jets as far as that's concerned. How about this? The Detroit Lions are 3-point favorites at home. They welcome in the Chicago Bears. The Bears are very interesting. They announced Trubisky is their guy. They bring in Nick Foles in the offseason. I thought they brought in Nick Foles to be the starter. I think it's kind of foolish that he's not the starter. Why did you go and how do you pay a quarterback $24 million to be a backup? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. The guy's going to make $24 million to be our backup. That's weird, but I think this is an ego thing. I think that it's the front office is having a tough time admitting that, hey, we made a mistake. I give him 2 to 3 weeks. They lose to the Lions in week 1. It could be one of those things where, hey, by week 2 or 3, you all of a sudden could see a new starter, Nick Foles, coming in for the Bears as far as that's concerned. You really think the Lions going to beat the Bears in week 1?
No, I'm going with the Bears. I'm going with the Bears for this reason. I got a little intel on Pam's Lions. One of the reasons they picked up AP is because DeAndre Swift, he's hurt. Kerryon Johnson is also hurt. So they had to pick him up because they had no running backs. So I'm just going to go with the Bears just because of that. Because, I mean, AP, as much as we talked about how much we like him in a limited role, he's not going to have a limited role. He's going to have a starring role with the Lions, at least for the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. So I'm going with the Bears.
I hate that we keep agreeing on everything, but I'm going with the Bears as well, mainly because that Bears defense, I'm not sold on the Lions offense. Although, if we have Pam listening, as you mentioned, Stafford had a really, really good year last year until he went out with that injury. And he was, I don't know. There's just something about the Lions I do not trust. They did that Adrian Peterson. That could be I don't know. I could see the Lions winning, but I'm going with the Bears. I'm going with the Bears as far as that's concerned.
I'm liking your pick so far.
Yeah, because we're basically, we're going for the same thing. So keep in mind, guys, here's the deal. Make your picks. Go to wingam.com. Submit your picks at wingam.com. And, we're going to be doing this each and every week throughout the season. The NFL season kicks off tonight. It's a week 1 matchup. Again, the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, welcoming in the Houston Texans, the 2 highest paid quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League, squaring off tonight. And we're going to get to that pick in just a moment. How about the Packers and the Vikings? The Vikings, a 2.5-point favorite. This is a big divisional matchup right off the bat. Again, we talked about that ESPN simulated season. They had the Packers missing the playoffs. They had the Vikings winning the division, which doesn't surprise me too much. But I was a little surprised. They do lose Stephon Diggs, by the way, so they lose a little firepower offensively. But they have the Packers missing the offense or missing the playoffs, which kind of surprised me because I don't think they're better or worse than last year. They pretty much kept everything intact.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm very torn on this. This would be like the matchup of the week for me if it wasn't for the Tampa Bay New Orleans matchup. I'm going to go with the Packers just because I got Aaron Rodgers. I just look at the quarterback matchup. I know Aaron Rodgers is better than Kirk Cousins. I know Dalvin Cook is with the Vikings and everything like that, but Green Bay also has Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams. I'm going to go with Green Bay for the opening week win.
Going with Green Bay. Finally, we can split off a little bit. I am going with the Vikings in week 1. Again, they are at home, and I got to stop saying that because, again, usually playing at home means something. It carries a little weight as far as that's concerned, but I do not believe that's going to be the case here in 2020. The Browns are going to have close to 6,000 fans in attendance at theirs. The same thing with the Bengals whenever that time comes. Not for the first game. I got to go back and see how they're dispersing those fans coming up, but I just don't think 6,000 fans, if other teams are doing similar approaches as the Browns and Bengals, 6,000 fans, I don't think is going to sway the atmosphere of a game one way or another. So I'm going to stick with the Vikings, but again, it's a 2.5-point line. Minnesota, the favorites. That's kind of a toss-up as far as that's concerned. I think that it can go either way, but I'm going to stick with the Vikings as far as that's concerned. Let's go to the Facebook feed. Jason Milton Holloway says Aaron Rodgers will get the Vikings to jump off sides and get several free plays without a crowd. Packers by 10. That's,
And I saw this earlier. Daniel Hunter, their DN, is out. He's out. He's on IR, so he's at least out for 5 weeks for Minnesota. So that's a pass rusher, one less guy Aaron Rodgers has to worry about.
Yeah, but keep in mind, Aaron Rodgers already a little disgruntled heading into the season. Keep in mind, the Packers,
what you want?
They drafted Jordan Love this past draft.
Discount double checking his own sideline.
Yeah, he's going to work his way out of Green Bay and be with the Browns here in a few years. How about that? We talked about that one. Let's go to Mark Ashbear. If I mispronounce or Abshir, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Sorry, I apologize. But Mark says that the Bengals and Lions each year there is hope and never plays out. Bad organizations breed losing teams. Oh, Bengals and Lions. Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I like this, Mark Abshir. And Mark, I got to make sure you're my new favorite listener right there now. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Mr. Abshir, because you're my new favorite listener. He's right. Bengals and Lions, each year there is hope. But, that never plays out. Bad organizations. Now, you're probably going to say, oh, the Browns. The Browns fans have always accepted that the Browns are a joke. That's the thing. The Bengals fans have that identity complex where they actually think they're a good organization. That's what cracks me up. I mean, the Browns know exactly who they are as far as that's concerned. Let's see. Let's keep going. Hey, the Bo. Shout out to Bo. He says, great show. Appreciate that, Bo. Doug Morgan has more jokes. No, I'm not going there, Doug. I'm not going to put that one on the Facebook feed, but you're more than welcome. Jason Milton Holloway. Again, remember I was ranking the quarterbacks earlier. He says, Lamar, Big Ben, Baker, then Joe Burrow. We were ranking the quarterbacks in the AFC North. Jason goes on to say that Burrow has to be last because he has yet to complete a pass, but after Burrow completes his first pass, he will then pass Baker. Damn you, Jason.
Nice little screen pass for 5 yards.
Oh, look. See, this is why I like doing this on Facebook, because we've had callers for years that have never been able to put a face with the name. Mark from Tip City. He goes, you pronounced it right. It's Mark from Tip City. For once we agree. Exactly. There you go. I'm bowing down to Mr. Abshir for calling in right there, for voicing his opinion there. All right, where were we? So we had the Vikings, the Packers. I picked the Vikings. You picked the Packers. They do have the better quarterback. I'm not sold on Cousins, but then again, his attorney, or his agent, I'm sorry.
Sold on him.
Agent of the decade. He has gotten Cousins multiple big-time contracts. Let's move on to this one. So, again, very interesting matchup here. The Patriots, no more Tom Brady. The Tom Brady era is completely over in New England, but you still have Bill Belichick with that ongoing.
Do it.
That what?
Do it. Go ahead.
What?
Do it. Do it.
What was I going to do?
Do it. Go ahead. Pick the Fins.
Oh, no, well, hold on. I would if they had my starter as the starting quarterback, but they had. So the Patriots are 6.5-point favorites at home against the Dolphins. I still think that the Patriots are getting a lot of that legacy love. They're getting that legacy love because that roster's garbage. It's straight garbage. They are getting that legacy love. I love Cam Newton, though. I do. I'm a big fan of Cam Newton, which is weird because I hated him with the Panthers. But I've never once said that he isn't good. It's not like Trevor Bauer. I can't stand Trevor Bauer, but I've never once told you that he's not a good pitcher. Their personalities drive me up the wall. Trevor Bauer, and of course now talking about Cam Newton with the Patriots. I mean, for one, yes, I am. The Patriots are winning this one. I do believe, though, if Tua was the starting quarterback, why would you not? Maybe that's why. Maybe they didn't want Tua's first start to be on the road at New England, but this isn't your traditional New England Patriots team, and this isn't a traditional type season. The atmosphere is not going to be, one that should intimidate a quarterback, even a rookie quarterback at that. I would have gone with Tua, but I'm picking the Patriots in this one.
Picking the Pats as well. I'm one of the people that still believe in Belichick.
Why do you say one of the people? I believe in Belichick. I just don't believe in this roster. I believe that. I mean, I was the one calling this out months ago. And this isn't really a hot take. I think it's common sense. Hey, you move on from Tom Brady. It's difficult to go out and get quarterbacks. Although if Cam Newton does pan out, they may have their quarterback and they can disperse their money and draft picks elsewhere. I think they're trying to position themselves maybe to become a little bit more interesting, to maybe get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields coming out of next year's draft.
Don't sleep on the Pats.
I'm yawning at the Pats. That's a boring roster. That's a boring.
They always have a boring roster outside of the Rams.
They always had Tom Brady. Tom Brady is what glued those boring guys together, man. He's gone. All right, next up, NFC East matchup. We have the Eagles and the Washington football team. The W, everything. It just looks weird seeing the Washington football team. Philly, 5.5-point favorite on the road at Washington. Keith Byers put out his top 5 quarterbacks earlier today on his Facebook page. He has Carson Wentz as a top 5 quarterback. I love Keith Byers, but I think he's showing a little too much Philly love there. That's too much Philly love. By the way, Philly should win this game, yes, but I am a little excited to see. I want to see Dwayne Haskins in year 2. Have you seen this? He's in amazing shape now. I love Terry McLaurin, and I can't wait to watch Chase Young injure Carson Wentz for the season. So
the Washington Buckeyes. Yes, we're going. I'm doing it.
Are you doing it?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
You're doing it?
You talked me into it.
I'm going to roll. I can't agree with you then because we've agreed on too much. So I'm going to stick with the Eagles. However, I will not be shocked to see
the Washington Buckeyes.
That's what they should do. You're right, though. Oh, we don't know what to call ourselves. The Buckeyes, the Washington Buckeyes. That's basically what you've turned into. You've used your 2 first-round picks the last 2 years to take Buckeyes. Dwayne Haskins 2 years ago and Chase Young this past one. So interesting one there as far as that's concerned. The Raiders and the Panthers. The Las Vegas, I was like LV. What is? Oh yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders. They are 3-point favorites on the road at the Panthers. Panthers and Jaguars are projected to be the 2 teams who are going to be battling it out to possibly win the services of Trevor Lawrence. So going to be interesting there. But yes, this shouldn't surprise you. The Raiders, 3rd year now with Gruden, 2.0 at least. I think the Raiders get this one. I don't think it's a hot take. They're bad. The Panthers are bad.
I'm going to roll with the Panthers for one reason only, and this is a whack reason. It's because they're flying from the west to the east, and it's a 1 o'clock kick. That's all I can come up with. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I tell you, Mark back on Facebook says, amen, Kev. How about the Washington Blast? Go Washington Buckeyes.
Hey.
So there you go. On to the next one, Colts and Jaguars. The Colts, you're not sold on their quarterback.
No.
You're not sold on their quarterback. I think that Phillip Rivers has a lot left in the tank. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but he has a season's worth left in the tank. I think the Colts make the playoffs. I think the Colts are a good team. They have a really good offensive line. I love the run game. I love that they added Jonathan Taylor to complement the running game of Mac. I think if Mac, one reason I do believe that they drafted Jonathan Taylor is because if Mac does ask for a large contract extension at the end of the year, you look at the big pool of available free agent running backs coming up. I think they're just going to say, see ya. Don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you as far as that's concerned. So I like the Colts. I think they're solid up front. I think they have a good, very good run game, experienced quarterback now with some solid receivers. They're quietly one of the more explosive teams in football. But to your concerns, Phillip Rivers, you're not sold on it. They're going to live and die by him. They're going to be good with an average Phillip Rivers. They're going to be more than good, though, with the above-average Phillip Rivers, in my opinion.
They potentially had the best offensive line in the National Football League, 2 running backs.
Kevin Love says thanks for that, by the way. Did I say Kevin Love?
Yeah.
Andrew Luck, my bad. I'm reading this.
Right, 2 years too late. And they have a real strong defense. Colts.
Yeah, Colts, I think that's an easy one as well. The Jaguars, as I mentioned, as well as the Panthers, they're positioning themselves to get Trevor Lawrence. Carolina or the Jaguars? Trevor Lawrence.
Carolina,
I'm saying the Jaguar. I want to see Jacksonville be good.
They got a decent receiver, DJ Shark.
Panthers are boring. They bore me. They just bore me. I mean, when I see them, I think of Jake Delhomme. That's all. And that's even after Cam Newton played there for so long and won an MVP and led him to a Super Bowl. But, hey, just like Delhomme, they didn't win it. So there's that. All right, on to the next one. I'm skipping the Browns-Ravens for now, as well as the Chargers-Bengals, because I'm saving the best for last and not the Chargers-Bengals. Buccaneers-Saints. This is the one I'm really interested in, by the way. The Buccaneers, the Saints, New Orleans, a 3.5-point favorite at home, welcoming in Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. We talked about those offenses earlier. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees going up against Tom Brady, now Leonard Fournette, and you look at all the weapons that he has as far as the wide receivers are concerned. This is a toss-up, man. I really don't know.
Game of the week.
I think it's easy to say the Saints just because you know what you get with them. Like, you know what you are hoping for with the Buccaneers, but you know what you get with the Saints. I'm rolling with the Saints as far as that's concerned.
We're on the same page again. I'm rolling with the Saints simply because Mike Evans is questionable for the game, and also Drew Brees, as much as I bang on him later on in the season, he starts to die off. Early in the season, he's pinpoint accurate. He's making those long ball throws. I expect New Orleans Saints to get this dub.
All right, on to the next one. I got the Saints as well, by the way. The Cardinals and the 49ers. The Cardinals, again, they just gave a huge contract to Hopkins. It's going to be year 2 of Kyler Murray. I mean, what do you – I don't know what your thoughts are on the Cardinals, but the Niners, I'm rolling with the Cardinals to get this week 1 upset. The Niners are going to continue the trend of those teams who lose in the Super Bowl of just flattening out. The Niners are really good defensively. I love Bosa, even though he drives me nuts for how he bailed on the Buckeyes. He's a quitter. I don't care what anyone says. He quit on your Buckeyes, and if you take your Buckeye blinders off, you will see that he quit. If you want to look at a good leader who actually got hurt for the season and continued to support his teammates, look at Tua Tagovailoa, the guy who should be starting for the Dolphins, but that's a conversation for later. Regardless, I really like the Niners defense. I like Bosa. I do like Garoppolo, but I'm going to say that the Cardinals get a big week 1 win on the road at the Niners. I don't think the Cardinals make the playoffs this year, but I think they get that. I think they'll be that surprise team in week 1 that gets that big upset win to kind of start the season. I'm picking the Cardinals as one of my upset picks this weekend over the Niners.
I'm going with the Niners, even though I'll be rooting for the Cardinals. I'm going with the Niners because of the power running game. The power running game and the defense is what got them to the Super Bowl. The power running game and defense is what's going to make them win games this upcoming season. So I'm rolling with the 49ers.
All right, next up, the Cowboys and the Rams. The Dallas Cowboys on the road are a 3-point favorite at the Rams. Hey, Dak Prescott, you want that money? You better start. You better start off hot. You better start off hot.
Versus this defense?
Yes, against this defense. I mean, now again, that offensive line, they're gonna have their work cut out for them. But you could say the same thing about the defensive line for the Rams. The Cowboys have one of the best offensive lines in football. They have one of the best running games in football again with Zeke Elliott. And again, I'm really excited to see CeeDee Lamb in Dallas. I can't wait to see the impact that he has on that offense because he's gonna make life a lot easier for Amari Cooper, or Amari Cooper's gonna make life real easy for the rookie receiver to get kind of acclimated. If Dak Prescott can't win with this group, I don't know what to tell you. We can't see you. If you're Dak Prescott, you cannot have a start like you had against the Eagles towards the tail end of last season when you had the playoffs on the line and you got shut out. That's the one thing this Cowboys team cannot afford to have happen. We'll see what the defense looks like, but I'm taking the Cowboys on the road over the Rams. The Rams projected by ESPN simulated season to win that division and make the playoffs. With they have the Niners and the Rams making the playoffs, and they have the Seahawks missing the playoffs. I would pick the Seahawks over the Rams, but again, I don't know. That defense is what people are rolling with.
I'm going out on a limb. I'm gonna go with the Rams in this game. I'm betting on a bounce back year from the Rams. I'm betting on them to be able to get that stretch running game going again. I'm betting on a healthy Cooper Kupp. I'm betting on a healthy Robert Woods, and I'm betting on that defense. And I'm betting on the rookie running back Cam Akers to get them this W. I think the Rams do have a bounce back year. I don't know about as deep as the playoffs as ESPN is talking about, but in this opening week, I think they can get a dub.
All right, let's go to my friend Schrody's Titans. How about this? The Tennessee Titans, which, by the way, ESPN simulated 2020 season has the Titans missing the playoffs as well. After, of course, getting all the way to the AFC Championship game last year. Of course, they give the big money to one of the top running backs in the National Football League. They make sure they get him nice and paid. They stuck with the quarterback that I yawn at. I mean, I don't get why they decided to go that route, but hey, they're going to get what they paid for because they're going to miss the playoffs this year, according to ESPN simulated season. But the Titans are 2-point favorites on the road at Denver. Denver, unfortunately, they just had one of their top stars defensively go out for the season. How about that?
Von Miller out for the season, crushing. Even though they have one of my favorite young quarterbacks, Drew Lock, I'm going with the Titans in the power running game, and that defense is filthy.
Again, and talking about that defense of the Titans, got to give them credit too. They were aggressive. They went out and they were able to go get Jadeveon Clowney.
That's it.
Clowney did say that the one reason that he did go was because of the head coach, the former Buckeye, and it was the mustache. I think the mustache is what sold him. That's a seller's mustache right there. Used cars. Got to sell something as bad as the Titans. I mean, yeah, you got to have you got to have that as far as that's concerned. I'm wrong with the Titans as well. I think that, by the way, the Titans are a good team. They're making the playoffs. I can't believe ESPN Simulator did not have them making the playoffs. I just don't look at them as a Super Bowl contender. That's all, as far as that's concerned. All right, we got Kev Steelers, we got my Browns, and we got all you weirdos Bengal fans out there. We got your Bengals coming up around the corner. Schrody said to listen to you. I listened to him, Schrody. I picked the Titans. Brady, shout out Brady. He said Broncos by a landslide.
Oh,
Broncos by a landslide.
I don't know about any landslides in the opening week of the NFL. I don't know. I think it is going to be a ton of tight games.
Except when the Chargers drop the Bengals coming up on Sunday. Shorty says, damn right, they're making the playoffs. Brady said boo. He booed the fact that we did not pick his. I mean, you gave a little shout out to Lock.
Yeah, Drew Lock. I rock with Drew Lock.
But the only lock of the weekend is the fact that they're losing. That the Broncos are losing. So Broncos by a landslide. Stop it. I didn't say that. Relax, Schrody. Get your panties all in a wad. Relax. Mark. No, that wasn't Mark. It was Matt. Matt Sturgeon on Facebook says Colts cover the spread. Lock of the week. A lot of locks right now. And then let's see. I see a porn star Jimmy comment here. Where'd it go? Porn star. Why won't this pull up? Porn star Jimmy and the Niners crushed the Cardinals. Cardinals are my upset pick of the week. The team that I've circled is getting that big upset win. Look, the Cardinals. I don't know. I see it happening. The Niners are going to have a little bit of that hangover after the Super Bowl. We see it every year. Every year, the team that loses in the playoffs always seems to kind of stub their toe as far as that's concerned. All right, so we got the Steelers pick coming up. We got the Bengals pick and the Browns pick. That is all coming up next. We'll close out our picks. Go to wingam.com, register, get your week one picks submitted. We'll be announcing the prize pool coming up here in just a little bit. Cav, I told you my upset pick of the week is the Cardinals over the Niners. I want to hear your upset pick of the week when we come back. 457-9464. We'll take your calls next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon is going to be partly cloudy with a high near 82. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 62. And tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high near 81. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces around your home, office, or commercial property. Crack filling, asphalt sealing, and parking lot striping. Find us at culletsealcoating.com.
Welcome to Pipestone Golf Club with a 4-star rating from Golf Digest and recognized as the best course to play. Pipestone is a favorite in the Miami Valley. The Arthur Hills design masterpiece is carved into the sweeping foothills and ancient oaks of southwestern Ohio. The course provides a quality challenge to golfers of all levels, and everyone is welcome. Be sure to call for a tee time, then bring your friends and play America's greatest game on a golf course that truly sets itself apart. Pipestone, a great golf experience.
This is Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
This is a year unlike any other, and school custodians, bus drivers, maintenance staff, cafeteria workers, secretaries, clinic, technology, and classroom aides are true heroes, making sure our kids get what they need to succeed while keeping them safe. Please take a moment to thank the education support professionals at your child's school.
Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
They can bulge, go bald, wear down, flatten, or be in dire need of replacing. No, guys, it's not you. We're talking about your tires. Let Fat Boys get your car rolling again. Safe and sound. Fat Boys carries tires in all makes, styles, and sizes, including Continental, Goodyear, Michelin, and more. Check out Fat Boys' new location in North Dayton at the corner of Meadmore and I-75 or 3050 Springboro Pike in South Dayton. Fat Boys, your ultimate resource for wheels, tires, service, and accessories. Look for Fat Boys at fatboysdayton.com.
Brewster's is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. Our Roosters family would like to thank all of our loyal Roosters guests who have supported us during these challenging times. Without you, we wouldn't have been able to keep our team members employed. We are striving to do everything we can to keep you and our team safe. Find a location near you at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Back to work at that job, the one you realized isn't for you? Well, that's if you're lucky, right? Make your move. You can start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
It's a new season, and it's Sport Clips haircuts. All of our stylists are clean certified and guy smart. So come in and get yourself back in the game with our legendary MVP experience. It's a mancation with our hot steam towel, relaxing shampoo, and a winning cut. Check in online and walk out with confidence. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy.
And you be stepping out like a pro. O'Reilly.
When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Napa know-how.
Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned Napa. Because right now, when you order from Napa online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping and over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer WetJet. With Swiffer WetJet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer WetJet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from The Justin Kinner Show, and I wanted to take some time to tell you about my great experiences with CertaPro painters. That's right, my experiences, as in more than one. I've had CertaPro painters complete quite a few painting projects for me over the years, and every time they knock it out of the park, whether it was the Ohio State-themed office with the Buckeye stripe wrapped around the room, or when they painted my entire house before move-in day, I could not believe that they knocked out our entire house in just one day. CertaPro painters knows how to get the job done right, and most importantly, safely during these times. They deliver what they promise. They show up on time. They get the job done right and on budget. Whether it is residential or commercial, interior or exterior, CertaPro painters will take care of you from the first initial free estimate all the way up to the final brush of paint on your project. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. They are a local business that you can support. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Pro grade brands, big savings, and all the right services to keep your business moving are just some of the reasons why Lowe's is the new home for pros.
The biggest local and national guests sit down for the biggest interviews with Justin Kinner on 1410 Wing Live. Presented by Arrowhead Tax Service. Follow along live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page and catch all previous episodes at wingam.com.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on a Thursday. As we wrap up the show, we're giving you our final picks of week 1 of the NFL season. A couple more matchups to go, and I saved all the interesting ones for the final go-round here. All AFC North matchups, or at least AFC North opponents, or teams, I should say. Let's start with your Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 5.5-point favorites at the Giants. I told you earlier that my upset pick of the week was, of course, the Cardinals beating the Niners, but I kind of have 2 upset picks this week, and I'm not doing this just to troll you. I'm being serious here. I do have the Giants with Daniel Jones, your 2 quarterback. They improved that offensive line. You have Saquon Barkley. I think that the Giants get the upset win over. Actually, it's not an upset. That's a bum roster you have going on there. Your number 1 receiver is supposed to be a number 2 receiver. You also have Connor, so there's that. The Giants beat the Steelers on Monday Night Football with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit on the call. There you go.
Second best defense in the NFL. The return of the Hall of Fame quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger.
Mm-hmm.
We win.
That's it. That's all you got.
That's all I got.
That's all I need. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's all you need.
All I need.
Okay, you're wrong, but it's okay. It's okay because you got the second best defense. You said the second best.
Yes.
Who's the first?
Best defense in the NFL is
Niners.
Niners. Oh, okay. Yeah, Niners. Niners, Rams, Steelers.
Niners, Rams, Steelers. Titans are a little offended by that. But with that being said, third best defense.
Yes.
Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yes.
The Giants have been embarrassing lately, and they're only a 5.5-point favorite. I'm going with the Giants.
Okay.
I'm going with the Giants.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they're going to put on a crap load of points, but they're beating the Steelers Monday night. I cannot wait for Monday. I'm going to be in Florida on the beach watching the Giants beat the Steelers.
I've been saying
black and yellow.
Exactly. I've been saying it since I jumped on the show and since you've been banging on my Steelers. Deontay Johnson, breakout season.
Oh, my God. Hold up. David Shaw. Are you a Steelers 31, Giants 10. Shut it, Dave. He says, shut it, Justin.
What's up, Dave?
Shorty says, Kinner hates on every team that has a good quarterback, because he's jealous because he's stuck with Baker. Giants over the spread, according to Mark. Matthew Gaines says second best defense last year. Hey, I do like this. I like the draft pick of Bush last year when they got him. I do like the Steelers defense, but you know what? It's that offense. Okay. It's that offense. I'm going to take Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley and the Giants.
Okay.
Yep, Dookies, baby.
Okay.
Speaking of Dookies, let's go on to the Browns and OBJ. Nice. That was, yep. I like that. That was pretty good. All right, so let's go with the Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, by the way, started out as a 9.5-point favorite about a week ago, and it went to 8.5. And it was at 8. Now it's at 7.5, baby.
Oh.
All of a sudden, they're getting word. They're finding out Baker's pretty good. He got a coach now. He has a coach now. He's not dealing with Freddie Bumpkin or whatever the hell his name is. No. No more Freddie Kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
No more twang accent after the post game saying stupid things because he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, Kevin Stefanski got a grown-up adult offense. Year 3 of Baker Mayfield. All right, you have all your OBJ's healthy. He's a little, he's a little strange, but bottom line is he's healthy. Jarvis Landry, All right, I like the offense. You got Kareem Hunt now from the very beginning, another full offseason, him and Chubb. I'm not saying that they're going to beat the Ravens because of Baker Mayfield. They're going to beat the Ravens because of the strong, steady run game. They're going to control the clock. They're not going to let the Ravens dominate. They're not going to let them control. The Browns will control the clock. It's going to be a heavy dose of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Baker's going to have 3 passing touchdowns on the day. I'm very detailed. I'm very detailed with this. I know exactly what's going to happen. Mark says 0-16 Browns draft Trevor Lawrence next year. Mayfield released. And I'm not. Everyone's saying I'm drinking today. Come on now. Shaw says that the Browns are going to lose 24-13 to the Ravens. I disagree with that completely. The Browns beat the Ravens. I'm on record. Bam is saying it right now. The Browns beat the Ravens.
The road to 12-4, huh?
The Browns beat the Ravens. It's going to be 28-24. The Browns beat the Ravens.
Ravens win because of the power running game and the weakness at linebacker for the Browns, and the MVP shines. Ravens win.
Heavy dose of Baker picks that coming from. Oh, now the laughing emojis are coming in. The laughing emoji. Jeremy Carr is his name. You'll be laughing. You'll be laughing. I promise you. I'm not laughing. The Browns are beating the Ravens 28-24 the final. 28-24. 3 passing touchdowns for my guy Baker. Chubb going to have a touchdown.
How many drops for OBJ?
All right. In last and certainly least, the Cincinnati Bengals. 2-14 a year ago. They spent $160 million in the offseason. They don't tune up that offensive line. You finally think that you get your franchise quarterback. In fact, you're so excited about your franchise quarterback that you get nothing to protect him. That makes no sense whatsoever. You're dumb and you pay $12.5 million to a running back, which makes no sense. Whatever. But the Bengals, they're still the Bengals. Schlemmer used to say that about until further notice, they're still the Cleveland Browns. Well, until further notice, this is still the Cincinnati Bengals. And with that being said, the Bengals are welcoming in the Chargers. No Justin Herbert. It's going to be, of course, Tyrod Taylor.
T-Mobile.
The Chargers are a 3-point favorite at Cincinnati, which is amazing to me because, if you just base it on social media, Joe Burrow is already holding up the Super Bowl trophy. The Bengals are 16-0. Joe Burrow is going to throw for 7,000 yards, 125 touchdowns, -37 interceptions. The guy is Jesus. He is that good. If you could picture Jesus wearing a football helmet, it's Joe Burrow. That's how delusional these fans are. They're hypocrites. Everyone said, "Oh, Baker hasn't done anything," and you're getting excited about it. But yeah, here they are. My, how the tables have turned.
Who you got?
Oh, Chargers.
Bengals.
Joe Burrow throws 2 interceptions and a touchdown.
Got the stats, man.
The Chargers are winning. And he's going to get sacked 4 times. So there's that. All right, folks. Big one tonight. I'm excited. Patrick Mahomes, the Texans. We go out with this. That's the big one tonight. Patrick Mahomes, he get the win.
No. That's my upset of the week.
That's your upset of the week?
Going with Houston, H-Town.
I think that Deshaun Watson, for the same reasons that you and others have said Baker is impacted by having OBJ, I think Deshaun Watson, I think is going to open up tonight with no Hopkins, not trying to force him the ball. I think that offense is going to be more equally spread out. I like their run game. They don't have a true number 1 receiver, but I do like Cooks that they got from the Rams. I think that that's going to be a well-balanced offense. That offense is better than you think, and I think that the Texans, I agree with you, they beat the Chiefs tonight, I think. Now, I picked the Chiefs to win on my pick'em thing, but I could see that.
Two is out here.
David Shaw says 30. Well, I just punched the mic because I saw a spider on my arm. What the hell? Okay. Anyways, that's weird. We're time to go. It's time to go. Shaw says 31-7. The Chiefs over the Texans. Where did Jeremy Carr go? He says, "Heck yeah, I'm laughing. Baker can kiss my donkey." All right, folks. Have a great night. Excited. The NFL season's officially here. Kicks off tonight. Chiefs, Texans. We'll do this again tomorrow. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash will, of course, bring you 3 and out. 3 reasons why the Browns will win, 3 reasons why they'll lose. Same thing for the Bengals. 3 reasons why they win, 3 reasons why they lose. That's coming up tomorrow, and then high school football as well. Have a great night, everybody.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
To make sure the air in your home is absolutely perfect, call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning. They're offering $1,350 in rebates plus payments as low as $132 a month on a new Lennox system. Call 937-222-8638 today. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ohio license number 14911. Sports injury, low back pain, or are you interested in improving your performance and getting to the next level? Orion Sports Medicine is truly a unique sports medicine and physical therapy clinic and training facility. We offer a highly educated staff that has experience working with athletes from the recreational and youth levels to elite professionals. We offer services that include PT, functional assessment, wellness, fitness,